and I realize this. But I'm going to be taking over for Joyful, just for the day. Maybe just part of this live. He had something very unexpected happen. Let's just put it that way. Let me see here. Anything I want to do? Maybe make this a little bit wider. All right. Hello, everybody. If you're just coming in, I'm not Joyful, but I am taking over for Joyful. He is attending to something. Hopefully, he will be taking over after a bit here. We are going to have a new format or whatever. We're going still with the new format. Oh, I'm very merry. Thank you. And we're going to have Dugald be the co-host. I was going to have it up here where it says co-host, but I didn't have enough time. So, you guys can hear me though? Like, I'm using a third iPad. So, please let me know if you can hear me or not. Otherwise, yeah, tap that screen. Let's get this live going. Hopefully we can get some ops in the box. And we can see how it all pans out, huh? Let me see here. Let's see. Alright, we are live on YouTube. We are live everywhere. I'm merry? I don't know if I'm very merry. Maybe like joyful? Oh, is that what you mean? I'm merry. I'm not joyful, but I'm merry. I get it. I get it. Thank you, Snipes. I appreciate that. Wanted to make sure that everybody could hear me because, you know, I like to be heard. What's this? Share, 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 share out. I think I can do guest. I'm waiting for Dugald to come because he's supposed to be my co-host, our co-host. Joyful is going to come in later on after the show gets started here. But yeah, while we're waiting, how's everybody doing? God doesn't exist. I'm not joyful, but I am merry. And I am an atheist. And I don't believe that God exists. And that's, you know, a problem for some people. So let's hash it out. Let's talk. Let's debate. Let's prove your God that apparently exists somehow. I've never seen him or her or it. I've never experienced God or anything supernatural, if you will. Although there was a weird instant last night on the Bad Bible Debates Discord where we were talking about enchiladas and then Mezzo mentioned a vegan enchilada and another instant egg rolls was like, oh wait, I'm eating a vegan enchilada. And I was like, does that mean God? Does that mean God? Does that mean God? Why is your sound coming through? Hold on, speak again.
I was going to say, I think that does mean God.
Are you getting any echo because I have to figure out why you're not coming through. Here.
I'm not hearing echo.
Okay.
But can chat hear me?
No. Now say something.
All right, is that better?
Better, you're in my ears. Thank you, thank you. So does that mean God?
Yes, I was going to say, I think that does equate God.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, you know, coincidences mean that God exists and that we cannot have, you know, rainbow people. And hey, buddy, it's been so long. Oh my gosh.
It has been.
There we go.
I love how when people hear my voice, they're like, "Oh, it's joyful," or on my live, people be like, "Oh, it's." I'm like, "No, I'm me. We just kind of sound alike."
Right. All right. Yes. Okay, we got a little bit of a different layout here. I think this might work a little bit better than what Joyful had, to be quite honest. We got somebody up. I'm going to bring them up just because we're going to get some discussions going. How are you doing?
I'm good. Can't be complaining. Got engaged a few weeks ago, so getting married next month. So
That's a quick engagement and marriage.
well,
That's
we've
awesome.
been together for 3 years.
Oh,
so
well then, okay. Seth and I have been together for 7 years as of July. Yeah, we should probably do that before it becomes illegal.
you should.
Before it becomes
you
illegal.
should.
Yeah.
People here. So here's see if I can find it. So yeah, people for some reason forget that we're in 2025, and when they realize that, let me see if I can find the picture of it, because people see how it happened. So it's right here. She proposed to me.
Oh.
and so for some reason, when people see this, they get upset. Like, all these supposed alpha men are just like, why would you say yes? You should be the one proposing. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, what's the big deal? Honestly, I think that's cool. Like, why can't like a guy be a stay-at-home dad? Or, like, why not reverse the roles? I see nothing wrong with that. And
by the way, if you're not following Peachy down in chat, Peachy's a good friend of mine. Make sure you give Peachy a follow.
I'm pretty sure I follow Peachy. But I'm going to follow Peachy on this account because this is not my account. This is Joyful's.
This is now my account.
But yeah, if anybody is in the audience and would like, YouTube saying that you sound a lot like Joyful. I don't hear it. I don't know if I hear it.
I don't know. A lot of people think that, like, I think he and I were on a panel together once, but neither of us had our cameras on. And people are like, why is Joyful... People who know me were like, why is Cyber on 2 accounts? And then somebody else was like, why is Joyful on 2 accounts? It's like, we're different people.
Right.
You sound joyful.
I am joyful.
In fact, how are you doing? Can I get your age real quick just for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 33.
All right. And what are your thoughts? Can you prove that God exists, or do you have any kind of evidence that God exists?
Okay, hold on, let me see. Okay. As far as God existing, I believe if a God can make a claim that comes true later on, that is outside of the means of a human prediction, that could be a good, I believe that proves God. Like, for example, in Isaiah 13, 19, 20, it said, Babylon will be overthrown by God like Sodom and Gomorrah. She will never be inhabited or settled from generation to generation. When we look at the current population of Babylon, it's 0. There were 2 people that tried to rebuild it that I know of. Alexander the Great, nothing happened there. And then in 1982, we have Saddam Hussein. He tried to rebuild it, nothing happened.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, because you said something outside of what man says. So what's your evidence that this was actually coming from God?
Well, if a man makes this prediction, then we could test that to see if it comes true or not. I don't believe a man can make a prediction that came true like this. Like, for example, it says, she will never be inhabited or settled from generation to generation. And this was written way before. And today, the population is 0.
Was it that long before, though? It was
way
written around.
Before.
I'm trying to think. What part of... So Isaiah 13?
Yeah,
Let me see here.
because today's 2025, and it was attempted to be rebuilt by Alexander the Great. How long? How long ago
So
was
8th
he?
century BCE.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, let's see, the oracles against Babylon, prophecy and pronouncement against the city and empire, Babylon. Wasn't Babylon like,
It wasn't fallen. It was a great population. It was a big population. So let me give you the numbers real fast.
I mean, like, it's just, let's see here. So the Neo-Babylonian Empire fell in 539 BCE when Cyrus the Great of the Achaemenid Persian Empire. So now this is like 300 years after when Isaiah's claimed to be written, according to this AI. But if it was closer to like 500 BCE, I mean, it does seem like the fall was influenced by internal discontent with the ruling Nabonidus, who
But here's the claim I'm making.
There was some turmoil going on, and Cyrus was
but the point I'm making right here is it says she will never be inhabited or settled from generation to generation. So not
the
that
land
it
was settled, right? The land is
not hold on, Rafat, not that it became desolate, but it says never to be inhabited again, and the population today is 0.
no. The land is settled, right? Where was Babylon located at?
It's a part of Iraq, so it's
Right.
currently 0 right now.
No. Iraq has people living in it. The land was settled.
It's not the whole Iraq; it's a part of Iraq.
Yeah, but the land was occupied. There's people living in what was Babylon. The prophecy didn't come true.
No, it's 0. The population's 0 right now.
No, it's not.
It actually is.
There are living people on the land.
Correct.
Now,
Not in Babylon. Not where Babylon used to be. It's 0.
Babylon was like a whole
but we're talking
empire.
about the land being occupied, right? When we talk about people living there, it's the land, right? And even let's say, for example, going with your thing, let's say as soon as Saddam Hussein tried to say, hey, we're rebuilding the Babylonian Empire, well, as soon as he says that and they move to do it, well, there's people living there. That automatically makes the prophecy fail.
So let me give you this real quick. So
Even for a short period, even if it was a short period, there was people occupying what would be quote unquote Babylon.
So let me give you this real
The prophecy
quick.
just failed.
Let me give you this real quick. So modern Babylon site is near Hilla, Iraq. Archaeologists and tourists visit ruins, but no city or permanent settlement exists inside the ancient walls. Villages like Hilla and small farms exist near the ruins, but the actual city area population is 0. The UNESCO list, it has a World Heritage Site, protected ruins, not a city.
Correct. So do you know why people don't live there?
Okay, right there. You prove my point. No one lives there.
No. People live in what was the Babylonian Empire. The empire wasn't just one city, right? It was an empire.
No, the population is 0, my friend.
No, it's not.
Okay, what city are you looking in Iraq? What city are you looking at right now?
Any part of Babylon.
Well, give me a city. Give me a city. Don't say any part, because you're saying the whole place of Iraq was Babylon. Give me a city that you believe was Babylon that is currently populated.
Yeah, we can look this up real quick. Hold on. How far do you think the Babylonian Empire extended?
Well, before we move
from?
on, just give me a city that you believe.
Yeah. Hold on. So just to give you an idea, before we go into this, if you really want to know what the Babylonian Empire was, this is the entirety of the Babylonian Empire.
Okay,
All we have to show is that there's people living over here.
Right.
Or there's people living here. But the Babylonian Empire was all of Iraq.
Okay, you say all of Iraq.
Yeah.
So can you give me a city in Babylon that exists today, like the name of a city?
What does that matter?
Sure.
I guess I don't understand. Like, does the prophecy say like no city will like continue to exist? Also, doesn't the prophecy like kind of say that it's like a peaceful fall?
So the prophecy said, here's 3 passages about the prophecy. First one, Babylon will never be inhabited or lived in through all generations. The next one is, I will make the land of the Babylonians desolate forever. The other one is, Babylon will be a heap of ruins, a haunt of jackals, an object of horror and scorn, a place where no one lives.
But people live there.
Yeah, where no one lives. There's people who live in Iraq, my dude.
Okay, give me a city in Iraq so I can look it up real quick.
Oh, yeah. We'll see one here.
Well, I don't know. Baghdad.
Okay, you say Baghdad. Okay, give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah, so Baghdad was part of the Babylonian Empire.
It was. So there is literally a city that was within Babylon that still exists.
Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. So look, Babylon became a city in 762 by the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur. We're talking about the ancient city, which existed in 23,000.
As a matter of fact, it existed within the law Iraq.
Cyber,
the law Iraq still exists.
Hold on, so let me finish real quick. So the ancient city founded around 23,000 and or 100 and 200 or 2000 BCE. So this city that you're talking about, Baghdad, goes back to 762 CE. So that is a confusion. It's not part of Babylon.
No, it's a city that was within the Babylonian Empire. That's what you asked, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it wasn't a part of. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, we're like getting into this weird like words don't mean words like thing where is it like within the board? Does it have to be within the borders? Is it like is Babylon just its people during its time?
Hey, give me 1 second. I want to try to break this down simpler because I you're saying Baghdad was a part of it, but give me 1 second to. Give me 1 second.
So I'm on the line. So the point that we're making is that it states that it'll never be inhabited again, and clearly it's been inhabited. So the prophecy just come true.
So Babylon is located on the Euphrates River, about 85 kilometers south of Baghdad, while Baghdad was built on the Tigris River. So they're not in the same. It's different rivers in different locations.
Wait, what do you mean it's different rivers?
So Babylon, it was located on the Euphrates River, while Baghdad was built around the Tigris River.
Yeah, but
two different locations.
So are you talking about like the city Babylon? Or are you talking about the Babylonian Empire?
The ancient Babylon, where this prophecy took place.
Yeah, it was an empire, though, my dude.
In the prophecy, isn't it said that like Babylon's taken over by a specific people, though, like the Medes?
Mm-hmm.
From media.
No. This prophecy is about it not being inhabited forever.
Well, no, there's other words within chapter 13 of Isaiah that talks about the Medes. See, I will stir up against them the Medes. If you look at like verse 17, who do not care for silver and who have no delight in gold. But we know through historical, like actual evidence that Babylon was overturned by the Persians under Cyrus II, not the Medes. So like, how much of this prophecy has to be like sort of correct and sort of not correct? Because in Deuteronomy, if it's not exactly correct, then it's not of God.
So you're saying it was taken over by the Medes? What is the verse?
17.
And what chapter are you looking at real quick, just so I can get there too?
Isaiah 13. Verse 17. I mean, in verse 4, from faraway lands, from the ends of the heavens, there would be these armies that are mustered up from God.
So in 539 BC, Babylon was conquered by the Medes and the Persians under Cyrus the Great. The Medes and the Persians.
But Cyrus had like conquered Media, which is like a tiny bit of Persia at this time.
No, but it was conquered by the Medes and the Persians under Cyrus.
They're just saying that the Media, the kingdom, is within Persia, within like the greater Persian Empire at that time by Cyrus II.
It was called Medo-Persian Empire.
Well, but hold on.
And the country didn't get destroyed; it was incorporated.
It was incorporated. It wasn't
It was
destroyed. In fact, the city of Babylon.
I'm saying conquered.
How the city of Babylon ended up like the city itself is it just had a slow decline. It wasn't like destroyed. None of that.
Correct. It doesn't say quick.
Slow decline.
Correct. The prophecy doesn't say a quick decline.
It says that they're going to get overthrown by God like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's pretty quick.
And they weren't. And that's not what happened to them.
Correct. It doesn't say a quick decline.
Do you think Sodom and Gomorrah was like this long, like drawn out thing?
No, it's not. It's not just like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's just talking about
That's
being
literally it's within.
It's talking about being a heap of. So it's talking about being a heap of ruins, and you guys are missing the main part. It's saying being desolate. You're missing the main part. It says being desolate forever, and the population today.
It's not desolate. There's people living there.
No, you're talking about places near it, but the population where the prophecy took place, that is zero.
No, there's people living where the Babylonian Empire was. Hold on. Whenever that we talk about, because if you notice, let's listen. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right? So we're talking about the empire. We're not talking about a city here. We're talking about an empire.
Right, the jewel.
Okay, so there was a city. We're talking about the city.
No, you're trying to talk about the city, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this prophecy is talking about the city, because do you know
the city? Correct. City.
Hold on. Do you know what this is about?
Babylon.
Right? Yeah. The not the city, the empire, the Babylonian Empire.
Where are you getting this from?
Where do you get that? It's just a city.
No, like where do you get it from? That's the empire, because you just made that claim.
Because whenever we talk about Babylon, it's always the Babylonian Empire.
Can you read verse 19?
Go ahead and read for me.
Babylon, well, in my version here, it says Babylon, comma, the jewel of kingdoms. Saying of the kingdom of kingdoms, pretty much. It's making the distinction that it is the kingdom of Babylon, not a city.
Yeah. No, that was the city. So the kingdom it's not a big empire. It's talking about the city, exactly. So Babylon, the jewel of kingdoms, will be,
when a king rules, do they only rule over a city?
Let me show you something fast.
And let's talk about how we know that this is supposed to be an immediate decline and why it mentions Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hold on, moving too much.
Listen, don't make us start muting you. So,
no, but we're moving too much.
How did what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? How was Sodom and Gomorrah?
One second, brother. We're moving too much. I want to address this point first.
No, listen. How was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed?
Hold on, we're talking about the city. 1 second. One thing at a time.
No, hold on. How was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed?
1 second. So this verse right here, Jeremiah 25:11-12.
Oh, don't leave Isaiah. Don't leave Isaiah. You got to stay within Isaiah.
No, this is still the prophecy.
No, it's not. It's a different
prophecy. But
different prophet.
It's the same prophecy.
You're going to a completely different prophet.
It's the same prophecy.
No, it's not.
So this whole country will become a desolate wasteland.
Oh, the whole country. See, the whole country.
Can I finish reading?
Thank you. The empire.
Can I finish reading?
Guess what? There's people living there now. I'm sorry, it didn't come true. People living there now.
Cyber, can I finish reading, please?
You just read it. This country.
Whole country will become a desolate. Now, how we use country today is different than how they used it back then.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
So let me finish.
No. Whenever in text, whenever we refer to an area, we're referring to
you have to go back to the
mass, not just a city.
What was the Hebrew word for country?
What do you mean? Hebrew word for country? I can go double check that real quick.
Correct, because it's not the same word. It's not how you're using it today. So it's all about the etymology of how they use the word. Because the translation that you're using could say country, but that's not how they're using it, just like how you're using it. So
let's go look at it. What chapter are you looking at in Jeremiah?
Oh, now you want to use Jeremiah. So go to Jeremiah 25, verse 11.
You're the one that brought up Jeremiah.
No, but he said don't use Jeremiah.
Well, yeah, because we were in Isaiah, and then now we're into Jeremiah, which is understand that in Deuteronomy 13, that a prophecy has to be very specific if it's of God. Otherwise, it's not of God.
Hold on, and Jeremiah 19 doesn't help you, because it talks about upon their king of Babylon and the nation. So even in Jeremiah 19, it's talking about the empire and nation that says Yahweh for their iniquity and the land of the Chaldeans. So it's talking about the land will be desolate. And that's not the case.
Correct. What part of the... So when it says country, what is the word again?
Huh?
What is the word for country in Hebrew?
You're going to make me pull up Safari here. Hold on. Let me pull up the Hebrew. Let's see. Actually, so this is Jeremiah. What verse is that? 19 is where it says country?
Jeremiah 25:11.
25:11. All right. So
wait, let me make sure that's... no, not 25:11. Hold on, let me see. I think it's 25:12 probably.
Jeremiah.
Where's it at?
25. Let's say nation.
Yeah, and it used goyim. It used goyim. So that means
Goyim,
nations.
Yeah, like a nation, a different nation.
Yep.
Okay, and then how do they use the word nation?
Well, in this it's using goyim, so it means people group.
Right.
Correct.
Like, so
it's not the same way you're using it.
Well, hold on. Listen. And shall behold this land a desolation, and astonishment shall serve nations. This king of Babel. Oh, sorry. You're in verse 12. Which verse are you in exactly?
Go to 11.
Jeremiah 25:11.
Correct.
Because I'm reading it like direct, like Hebrew translations. 25:11. Are you going into verse 12 too, or are you just stopping at 11?
Well, we're talking about the word country, right? Our nation.
It's goyim. It means people group.
Yeah, so people group. So the way you're
So
using
it
it
means
today.
the empire.
Yeah, the way that
The empire, the people group spread throughout the empire.
brother, the way that you're using the word country is how we use the word today. We're not. So back then.
No, that's how it's always been used in Hebrew. I'm Jewish. It's how it's always been used.
No, but in this verse,
whenever we refer to goyim, we're referring to the entire people group.
In
we're
this
not referring
verse,
to like a single landmass.
In this verse, they're not using it how you're using it.
No, we are, because that's how it's used.
It's not, my friend.
Whenever goyim is used throughout the Tanakh, it always refers to a people group, the entirety of the nation, not just a specific area.
Sorry, we're talking about the word ha'aretz, not gaim.
Ha'arit?
Yeah, so the main word is aretz. So it's talking about land, earth, territory, or how it...
Wait, in verse 11?
Correct.
Verse 11 specifically uses...
Goyi.
Yeah, that is a stem.
No, for the first part. No.
So you're mispronouncing the word wrong. First of all, you're mispronouncing it. It's hagoyim, and it means the nation, the people.
No, we're not talking about that word. So in this verse where it says, and this whole land, that land right, because in the translation that I was reading before said country.
Do you speak Hebrew?
I know some words in Hebrew, but
you're doing it wrong, and I'll show you here.
No, I'm not talking about gaim, brother. I'm not talking about that word.
You are. So I'm in verse 12. So hold on. I'm in verse 11. So look at here. So we'll cut the Hebrew off.
Go to the beginning.
Yeah. So we're here, and shall be whole land.
Right there. The third word. That's what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. But what you're forgetting is land, right? This desolation, because you gotta keep going. You can't just.
I'm talking about the third word.
Hold on, but you can't stop at the one word. You got to read the whole.
That's
verse.
The word I'm talking about.
Yeah, but what you're missing here, and shall serve hagoyim, right?
Yeah,
so we're talking about.
Oh, but I'm talking about the third word. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah. You're not. You're just trying to cherry pick one word out of an entire verse.
Keep getting muted.
So, like the aret does mean like country or land still, though. Like they're referring both to the country and the people that are not Israelites.
No, the way that you're using country is not how they're using it back then. So it's this earth land.
They're literally talking about the land and the people. Like that's what ha'aret
that land
means land, and goyim means the people that are non-Hebrew.
Yeah, where that kingdom was in that specific land, the Aretz, where that land, we're not talking about a whole country how we use that word today.
So the land and the people don't mean a country? So like what else makes a country a country?
No, how you're using the word today is different than back then. So what I'm saying is
They're
that
literally saying
prophecy,
the land,
if we
Aret,
look at that specific land today,
and the
it's
people.
desolate. It's desolate today.
It is not
Well,
desolate,
and
though.
hold on.
It is.
Hold
We
on. Do
just
you
saw
know?
it.
So hold on. I
And
just
this
went
says
up
that
and started reading. Do you know what the? Do you know what this chapter or this section? This is talking about the Jewish people going into exile. Because in fact, this is talking about the whole country will become desolate in a wasteland. It's talking about Israel. It's talking about because Israel got so wicked, this is the
About
threat
Babylon.
saying because you guys are doing this, you're going to be captured by Babylon. Because that's why it says in verse
But what
11.
happens to Babylon?
Listen, well hold on. I'm reading the verse that you brought us to, and you're misunderstanding what this translation says. It says this whole country, again, talking about Israel, this whole country will become a desolate wasteland, and these nations will serve the king of Babylon for 70 years. This is the prophecy about the Israelites going
70
into
years, correct.
exile.
70 years, correct. So that place did become desolate. They did serve the Babylon king for Nebuchadnezzar. He
Was
was
only
the
for
king at
70
that,
years?
he was the king at that time, but then that place
No, he
became
wasn't.
desolate.
As a matter of fact, history goes against this. Are you familiar with the Nabonidus stone?
Okay, what is this stone?
Yeah, so the Nabonidus stone,
Spell it for me. Spell it for me.
N-A-B, how do you spell Nabonidus?
Unidas. Nabunidas. Nabonidus was what I was talking about earlier with Cyrus and the like takeover / incorporation of Babylon into the Persian Empire. Oops. The people never stopped being there. And the prophecy seems to be while they're in exile, they are like pretty much wishing for somebody to come and free them, which is what most of the prophecies at that time were, right?
Yep.
Because they were literally like imprisoned and they were like wishful thinking. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
And that's the whole purpose for Daniel. Daniel recognized that the 70 years had come and gone. It had been longer than 70 years. And Daniel's like, wait, did somebody misread this? And so that's when we get his visions, right? But Daniel gets things wrong because when we use the Nabonidus stone, we realize that Daniel was just wrong. When Daniel's talking, he's talking about Nabonidus, who was king at the time, and Nabonidus had no relation to Nebuchadnezzar.
So it confirms that he was the last king of Babylon.
Who?
The stone.
Yeah, Nabonidus was.
Okay, and then what happened to the kingdom?
Yeah, they got conquered by the Greeks. Well, there was a series of conquering, ultimately leading to the Greeks.
Which
But
led to
but hold on, so what I'm saying here is Jeremiah, right, didn't come true according to Daniel. When Daniel was alive, he noticed that Jeremiah had issues. The 70 years is already here. And he's like, why are we not free? We're not free. So then we get Daniel coming in. But the issue with Daniel is, one, when we look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contains the oldest manuscript of Daniel, we see that it was written in Hasmodean Hebrew. Right, so we have it written in Hasmodean Hebrew. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal because, it's a copy of copies of copies. However, Daniel makes the mistake of referring to Belshazzar, not Belteshazzar, that was Daniel, Belshazzar being the son of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Daniel makes that mistake. The problem is the Nabonidus cylinder that you're looking at states that Belshazzar was actually the son of Nabonidus. And Nabonidus had no relationship to Daniel. Daniel is also, when we're talking closer to the Greek invasion of Judea, Daniel is extremely accurate. But as we get closer to the Babylonian exile, Daniel is widely inaccurate. So scholars today believe that Daniel was written well after the fact, probably during the Greek invasion, and he's writing as if he's living during the Babylonian time period, probably as a political, motivational type of text.
That's how I've kind of understood Daniel, which was more of like 200 BCE, where Isaiah and Jeremiah are like 500 to 600 BCE.
Hello.
Hi, Rabbi.
So that's interesting. So like, the book of Daniel is ascribed by scholarship to be written around the 2nd century BCE, so around 167 to 164. Yeah, definitely during the persecution of the Jews under Antiochus the Fourth, Epiphanes, of the Seleucid Empire. So that's when the book of Daniel is written, though Daniel 1 through 6 are the court tales describing that kind of Babylonian and Persian king. Often, though, with historical errors, like Belshazzar as king, when really Nabonidus, he was the son of Nabonidus and sometimes considered co-regent, but ultimately was the son of Nabonidus. Then we have, Daniel 7 through 12 with the apocalyptic visions. Of course, he's describing events leading up to Antiochus the Fourth with accuracy up until about 164 BCE, when the predictions are no longer matching the history, suggesting they were written as an ex eventu prophecy, meaning prophecy after the fact. So what is happening is he's trying to retrofit his prophecy writing to events that have already happened, but making it seem like they haven't happened yet, in order to have a affirmation and basically try to prove that his prophecies are correct, even though he had to retrofit them to make them seem correct.
Did Isaiah and Jeremiah, when they're prophesying the end of the Babylonian Empire, would you say that is analogous, or Cyber, you had something?
I was going to say, and specifically Isaiah 13.
I would say that, as you know, I know that the guys, you two know that Isaiah is written in 3 different centuries, or across about 500 years. Give me just one second.
Yeah, and 13 talks about the fall of Babylon and how it's a quick fall, like Sodom and Gomorrah, and it is by the hands of the Medes. Which is what facts for
quick fall though. What does it say? Quick fall.
Well, I mean,
what does
Sodom and Gomorrah was not drawn out over centuries.
No, but I don't believe it was talking.
Sodom and Gomorrah was seen as a destruction that happens over a period of maybe hours, if you stretch it out, maybe 24 hours, maybe over a 48-hour period.
I agree with that with the Sodom and Gomorrah, but I don't believe that it was talking about the fall of Babylon being the same time frame or same way like that as Sodom and Gomorrah.
It said it would fall
quick,
like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, so if we go to Isaiah 13.
Not in the sense of speed.
Well, hold on. So if we talk about Isaiah 13, right? So it talks about that, it starts out with, on a hill, there'll be a signal that arises, right? And then Hashem has commanded the consecrated ones, he summoned his warriors to execute his anger, right? Then we have, where there's going to be stuff going on the mountains, great multitudes. There's going to be an uproar of kingdom of nations that are gathering together, right? And they're coming from distant lands, from the earth of the heavens, the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole earth, right? So again, when we're talking about the whole earth here, it's talking about the entirety of the kingdom of Babylon, right? Not just the city of Babylon. We're talking about the entirety of the empire of Babylon. And then in verse 6, well, for the day of the Lord is near. It will come like destruction from the Almighty. Therefore, all hands will be feeble and every human heart will melt, and they will be terrified. Pangs and agony will seize them, and they will be in anguish like a woman in labor. They will look aghast at one another. So again, speaking about Babylon, and their faces will be aflame. See, the day of the Lord is coming, cruel with wrath and fierce anger, to make the earth a desolation. Again, the entirety of the empire. And to destroy its sinners for it. And this is why it gets compared to Sodom and Gomorrah, because Sodom and Gomorrah was supposedly these two great cities that just fell, like the rabbi mentioned, in a matter of hours because of the wrath of the Lord.
Let me ask a rabbi a question if she's still there. Okay. Do you believe that this prophecy failed, the Babylonian prophecy to become a desolate?
Well, that depends. So historically speaking, Babylon didn't fall to the Medes. It fell to Cyrus of Persia, who incorporated the Medes into his empire. But the text probably is reflecting like an older tradition, or just trying to be very symbolic. Now, I will tell you that some scholars will argue that this chapter reflects eschatological hope, that Babylon is a stand-in for the arrogant city opposed to God, later echoed in Revelation's idea of Babylon.
You believe in the New Testament?
I do not, but I'm telling you that what the scholarly consensus is about its relation to the book of Revelation, and the book of Revelation's pointing to Babylon.
Okay, so you're not sure if the prophecy failed or not, though.
I am absolutely sure the prophecy is not fulfilled, but that has nothing to do with anything you asked.
Also,
I'm telling you historically that Babylon did not fall to Medes. Babylon fell to Persia.
Then why does it say, hold on, I got a source right here.
well, hold on. Just because people in chat were wondering, and Rabbi, it does speak very, very good Hebrew.
As it turns out, 49 years of it. What's up?
You speak very, very good Hebrew.
Thank
So
you.
it refers to Babylon, both as land and nation. It uses eret.
That's not unusual.
Eret and
Eret.
goyi.
Right. So Eret is, or Eret here in the Eret or Eret means the land, and then Goyi is like a nation that is another nation. Now the reason that it talks about the land and then it talks about the nation as kind of separate entities is because the land itself is a character, like it is seen as a character of the text, very much like when we see in the holiness codes of Leviticus, especially going down to the end of Leviticus, where the land is seen as something separate from the people. The land itself is its own entity, its own character, the same as being talked about here. Eret is the land, but it is also speaking about the land being its own character, separate from the people or the nation.
Right, and in that
Same
verse,
as kind of Israel.
right. And so in that verse, though, it actually says it says Eret, and like the land, comma, and the nation will be
Right.
desolated.
Meaning
So
that
it means
land
all
itself,
of them, right?
Right. The character of the land itself will be desolate, as well as the people who inhabit the land.
Right.
So, question for you, Rabbi. So, you're saying that the Medes did not help, or they were not allies to Persia to conquer Babylon?
No, they were actually incorporated in. So Persia incorporated the Medes into Cyrus's empire. So they were as much conquered as this idea of Babylon was. The Medes were not their own entity. They were enfolded
Allies.
into Persia by Cyrus.
It says that they were allies of Cyrus.
It says that in the text, right?
No, not in the text. I'm looking at like outside sources.
Okay, what source?
Let me get the source for you.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
And what we were arguing about here, rabbis, because my whole reasoning for this prophecy, why I would say it's not, is because when it's talking about the land, like you mentioned, the land is its own character. It's separate from the people. And so the fact that today, since Babylon, encompassed modern day Iraq, and it states that the land, the character, will be desolate forever, since there's people living in Iraq today, it's not desolate forever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, no, I see how you're putting that. Yeah, absolutely, you could see it that way. I think the way that I would push back on that is because the book of Isaiah, like First Isaiah, Deutero-Isaiah, and Trito-Isaiah, is kind of a journey through pre-exile to post-exile. So a lot of the imagery here is based in the idea of this wishful thinking and this post-exile dreaming of both revenge and what life will be like outside of being in exile. So once the Jews have come out of exile, they're dreaming of what that will be like and some part of it is kind of plotting their revenge against Babylon itself that put them into exile in the first place.
And that seems like really reasonable, and like that seems to be like a very like that makes a lot of sense to me. And honestly, Rabbi, like you're validating exactly what I was saying, and like I was like quoting you from memory, you and Bert.
Yeah,
and it's like,
the first
it's
part
so
of
good.
Isaiah. Yeah, the first part of Isaiah is absolutely given to the idea that the writer is Isaiah ben Amoz. But that's only from like the the first chapter to the 43rd, 44 to 56 is the Deutero Isaiah, and then 57 through the end of Isaiah is Trito Isaiah. And again, written over a span of almost 500 years.
Right. So
in regards
interesting
to
discussion here.
Absolutely.
In regards to Herodotus, I guess book 1, section 107 to 130, where it describes how Cyrus rose to power. Here's a couple points that were brought up. I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Astyages, king of the Medes, ruled before Cyrus. Cyrus, originally a Persian vassal, overthrew Cyrus around 550 BCE. Instead of destroying the Medes, Cyrus united them with the Persians. From then on, Herodotus says the Medes and the Persians were essentially one combined power.
No. So I mean, I'm sure
are you going against his book?
Yeah, I'm going against the book because the history of it is the Medes were an ancient, like what we would consider Iranian people in the 7th century BCE. Okay, so their lands stretch across what we would call modern Iran, parts of Turkey, and into Mesopotamia. Now, they were at the original, like in 612 BCE, at the fall of Nineveh, they did assist one time in the assistance to destroy Assyria. Okay? Now, after that, in 550 BCE, Cyrus II, who is the king of the Persians, the subject, like, put the people of Medes under their subject rule. Now, according to Herodotus and Babylonian chronicles, the Persian army defeated the Medes. Many Median nobles then, before destruction, defected to Cyrus, saying, hey, before you take anybody else out, we're going to pledge our loyalty and our fealty to you. Now, after that is when Cyrus took the Medes under one rule, creating what is called the Achaemenid Empire.
Okay. One more little quote from the book.
Absolutely. Go ahead, hit me.
And it's 130 exactly, but it says, thus Astyages was disposed after a reign of 35 years, and the Persians under Cyrus became masters of Asia, but the Medes were treated without dishonor, and Cyrus kept them close as allies.
I hear what you're saying, and what I'm telling you is that is because many of the idea here is that many of the nobles, again, defected to Cyrus, saying, we will commit our fealty to you. That is what it means, like he kept them as allies. Your average Mede person or a citizen would have been taken under rule against their will, whether they liked it or not.
One second.
Give me just a second. Menkins Genie, you spread a lot of misinformation about, I don't know what Judaism is, but pics or it's a lie. Like, if you want to have a conversation with me, first of all, it's Judaism. So I'm not exactly sure what Judaism is. And I would need some context, what you mean by misinformation. If I'm incorrect about something, I'm happy to be corrected and course correct myself.
Why don't you bring them up?
You know what?
Why don't you bring them up?
That is wrong. I can't bring him up. I'm not a
They
mod.
want a guest up, they can.
It would be really interesting to have a guest up that can't even spell Judaism, though.
I mean,
it's probably autocorrect. It's probably autocorrect. You can't bash them for that.
Judaism does not get auto-corrected to Judaism.
But still, you shouldn't bash them. Like, have a conversation with them.
I didn't bash anyone, and what I don't need from you is for you to correct me on how I approach someone.
Right.
If
I'm
you don't
just
like
saying.
the way I talk to someone, you can mind the business that pays you.
I'm
They
just
were
saying.
bashing
I like
Rabbi.
a
Mind the
conversation.
business that pays you.
they were
I just like
saying
a good
Rabbi
conversation.
is spreading misinformation when Rabbi hasn't said anything that has been misinformed at all. I mean,
That's
this
what I'm
backs
saying,
up
like,
everything that I'm reading, everything that I know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I would like to see the point that the person is making, saying misinformation. If he
It
can
has
come up,
nothing to do with this conversation whatsoever. I can tell you that. When he says about Israel and misinformation about Judaism, he is not talking about what we are speaking about.
Why is
are you going to?
Like, right, he says you never come to an Israeli panel because you know us that you spread. No, he's mad because I am pro-Palestine and because I believe that Israel has no right to starve children, that it goes against Jewish law of Pekeh Nefesh. That is what this person's issue is that I am not a Zionist. So
Right.
like I mentioned earlier, I'm much more aware of when somebody says you are misrepresenting my own faith than you are.
And
Well
trust
said.
me, there are plenty of so I'm Jewish as well, but I'm not religious. But there's plenty of religious Jews who are not Zionist as well, who believe that the way Israel was formed is not biblical, is not the way it was supposed to happen. So just get out of here with that nonsense.
Okay, I actually do not hate Israelis. I do not have to like the Israeli government or how they break the law of preservation of life. So if you think it's okay, and for your Judaism, it's okay to break our most sacred law and to watch children starve, even though the word says you shall not stand by in the blood of your neighbor, you're free to do that. I just will not join you in that nonsense.
Yeah, Menkins, are you just stalking Rabbi to like?
I mean, I'm cute, so I don't blame them.
I don't either.
But I'm
I don't
gay,
blame
just so you
them
know it.
either.
I'm very happily married. So let's be clear. You are not my type.
Right. Oh, Menkins is gone. Thank you, Crystal. So
You gotta love
facts.
that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, facts for God. So it doesn't seem like your claim here is totally backed up. I don't think
Well,
that Babylon fell like Sodom and Gomorrah. I believe Babylon was incorporated much like the Medes, and
You know what? Hold on, and I'll check my notes. Let me get right back to you.
And the city of Babylon had an extremely slow decline. Like the city
Okay,
itself.
so here's another source that we had.
Well, let's
I'm
not
going
pivot
based
away
on-
from Isaiah 9. Or sorry, Isaiah
Well, yeah,
13.
I'm still sticking on this prophecy. I'm just going with some sources. So, because she's saying one thing, but this book is saying another.
well, so
are you-
Herodotus can be
what-
wrong, right?
You absolutely. I mean, Herodotus could be wrong, but what book are you reading? You're
I would
saying
have
this
to.
book.
I would have to
What-
look into that for her saying it could be wrong. Are you guys saying it could be
Well,
wrong?
you realize that Herodotus in books 3 and 4, he talks about Cyclops and Griffins as if they really existed.
But what does he mean by Cyclops? What is
He
the
talks about them as
etymology?
if they're actual creatures.
But what is his etymology? Like, how is he using Cyclops?
That they lived in Europe, and that
No,
the
but-
job of the Griffin was to guard stockpiles of gold.
No, I'm saying, like, how is he describing us? For example, in biblical, sometimes when they say unicorn, it's not really a unicorn, but it's talking about a specific animal. So when they say Cyclops, what are they describing
I think
exactly?
they mean like an actual, like a one-eyed monster, which is not a euphemism. Okay. Well, I mean, it could be, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. See, that's what
No,
I'm saying. Like, how is it?
Not in this sense. I think he's like literally talking about like a large
Okay, what does it say?
one-eyed,
What does
like
it
from
say?
the Odyssey. You know, when Odysseus says, "I am no one," and when the Cyclops gets blinded, and they're like, "What? Who did this to you?" And the Cyclops is like, "No one did this to me," and everybody's like,
Well,
"Oh wow."
But what does it say about Cyclops? What does it say
In
about
fact,
Cyclops?
he makes it clear because he uses the Scythian word I can't pronounce it, Arimaspoi, which is one of their legendary creatures in their mythology. It's like a legit
You know-
Cyclops in their
Wait,
mythology.
spell it for me again. Spell it for me.
Arimaspoi.
Arimaspoi.
You know that Herodotus is Greek, right?
No, I don't. No.
Yeah. So
Wait,
Herodotus.
hold on. A-R-I-M what? A-R-I-M-S-P-O-I?
Aspoi.
Okay. Let me see real quick. Yeah, it says misspelling or typo. Hold on, let me see.
Because he's talking about how the Cyclops steal gold from the Griffins.
ARIMSPOI. Nothing's popping up. Hold on. Maybe I'm spelling wrong.
Well, it just goes to show, like, so history can be revised, right? And like once we find out more information, like when the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, a lot more information was found, especially when it came to certain translations that were found in the New Testament. So, like, what's that?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, my apologies. I'll wait.
No, I mean, I'm just kind of filling air.
Unfortunately, Cyber, I don't see anywhere where Herodotus wrote about Cyclops, but absolutely did write about Griffins.
It says it's in book 3 and 4.
Right, I'm looking at book 3 and 4. So he does write about Griffins in the Histories, book 3, section 116, and book 4, section 27. He mentions the story that in the far north, he calls it the land of Isidonus, a people beyond Scythia. Griffins guarded gold in the mountains, like you mentioned. He says that the Scythians tried to steal the gold, but the Griffins, described as fierce eagle-like beasts, defend it. Herodotus doesn't say that he personally believes it. Rather, he reports it as something being told by others as part of his ethnographic, wonders of the world style. But I've not seen anywhere where he's talking about Cyclops, though I know that the idea of the griffin is probably inspired by Central Asia's fossil find of the Protoceratops in the Gobi Desert.
Oh.
But let me check. Where you? Okay, and you mentioned another one. You mentioned another thing that he wrote. What was that? Spelling one more time for me, Cyber.
Let me go back and.
I got it right here. It's ARIMAS.
MAS. Remnant. Okay. Yeah, also sometimes written as Arepses. It's a mythical people from the far north described as having only one eye. So now, he does kind of write about those, but they are distinctly different from the Cyclops. They do appear in the lost poem of Arimathea by Aristides of Proconnesus in the 7th century BCE. And believed that they lived north of the Griffins, and it's them who fought the ancient battles, endless battles with Griffin who guarded the gold. So in book 4, 13 through 27, that's where he discusses these people, the Arabs. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can see why they would be mistaken for Cyclops, because they are also being described, but they're described as a full people group, as having one eye, rather than just one entity that is more like described within the Greek mythology.
And like, for instance, too, like Moses, when painted in, I think, of the Renaissance period, they would put horns on Moses because of
on Moses's sculpture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was created, it was supposed to be light.
Mistranslation.
It was supposed to when what's his face sculpts it, Michelangelo. He puts the horns are on there, but he's trying to explain to people that it's not supposed to be horns. It's supposed to be after meeting with God on Mount Sinai, the light that they talk about shining from Moses. Those things are supposed to be light rays coming from Moses. Unfortunately, people looked at it, thought it was goat horns, and now at least once a week I get asked if I have horns under my hat because of this. Oh yeah, that men, especially Cyber can tell you. He's probably been asked in his lifetime that if he has goat horns under his kippah when he wore kippah.
As a matter of fact, a few years ago I was in a flat Earth debate, and and they utilized that. They believed that the Earth is kippah shaped, and that we on the back of it hold, and on the back we carry the true map of what the Earth looks like. And I'm like,
on the back of our kippah?
I'm like, it's white. It's white. There's nothing. It has a hair clip in it, so I can keep it on. But it's white.
Oh no, it's absolutely an anti-Semitic thing. I haven't heard that one though. But I do have a picture and I know you've probably seen this, but it's very, very important picture to me. I do have a picture sent to me by my friend Mateo of a certain cyber destruction wrapping tefillah
Yes.
recently, and I was just like, yes, he's coming back.
Yeah.
I had a whole 5 minutes of telling my Discord, we're gonna get him back. You just wait. Now I just got to get my brother.
So I made the mistake. This is what was funny about. So I saw Chabad at Walmart, and I made the mistake of being like, Shalom Aleichem. And they're like, Are you Jewish? I'm like, oh no, run. So they came over and they started talking to me. And I had my girlfriend with me, and they looked at her and they're like, oh, are you Jewish? And she's like, no. And one of them, the way he looked at me, I'm like, oh, my heart, my soul. But then anyway, so that happened a few days later on Sunday. It happened, and so they did that. And the one I can't remember his name, but he's like, and you're like, really Jewish? I'm like, yes, I'm really Jewish. And they're like your mom's Jewish? I'm like, yes, my mom's Jewish. And they're like, and when you say she's Jewish, she's not like Reform, is she? I'm like,
That's
no.
still a Jew.
Right. I'm like, no, I grew up in the North. And know what else they did, Rabbi? Let me show you what else they did.
Oh, yeah, I got to see this. Because a Reformed Jew is a Jew. No, they didn't.
I got a mezuzah now.
Didn't. No, they did. They come and do it?
They did.
Tell them it's wrong. I know you're not Sephardi, but if you were, it would be horizontal. Tell them that's wrong.
I will. I will tell them.
There's a reason why they put it on the angle now. I don't know if you know this, Benny, but Sephardi put it horizontal. Ashki put it straight up and down.
Right.
So there was a debate, and they landed on if we put it at an angle, we're supposed to try and satisfy both Sephardi and Ashkenazi.
Huh. Interesting.
I still like
right.
to go like, that is wrong. It's supposed to be horizontal.
Well, that makes sense. It sounds like a middle ground. Yoso, are you there? Can I get your age for TikTok purposes? And do you have any evidence for God?
Yes, I am 30. And I have reasons for my beliefs, Evidence is a loose term.
Okay, so what are your reasons?
It doesn't have to be any specific religion, does it? Just God in general, a creator, designer.
Well, actually, it's supposed to say Christians above this, but since I'm in a little box, it cut that part off. But we're willing to probably make this into the greater, God debate.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So
I guess I would start with. I guess I have to start with some form of objectivity. So it's like, do you believe in any form of law or universal law, for example, cause and effect, or maybe gravity or temperature, or any of these things?
Well, so
Ask if we believe in gravity.
Well, yes.
Gravity is a measurable thing.
Well,
Right.
I understand. I just wanted to start in some form of objectivity.
So
We
what
all can agree on.
and this might get a little heady here. So when I read, I've read what I love to bring up Bertrand Russell, just because when I read him, it just sounds like he's speaking to me.
Yeah.
And he said that, with the oncoming of quantum mechanics, that we don't have what people consider laws, like these rigid laws, right? Like natural laws, because that is something that would be used against people like myself that are rainbow. Or rabbi, that saying that is not natural, right? But
guess
with
I'm just
quantum
chopping liver
mechanics,
over here.
what's that?
Guess I'm just chopped liver
Oh
here.
yeah,
Forget
in
my
Cyber's Bi, I
sexuality.
forgot about that.
I was going to say, man, he'll choke
We're all
on a big
rainbow.
one. What are you talking about?
So to invoke a rigid law, out of philosophy is kind of silly to me, where quantum mechanics would say that they're probabilities. Now, are they very high probabilities? Yes.
Yeah.
Because with quantum fluctuations, the uncertainty causes, a little bit of a non-zero possibility that, something else could happen. Yes, a ball is going to fall every time I drop it, but
Right.
not so much, actually. There's a non-zero chance that ball might fly up. And
Yes. Right.
that would be
Correct.
weird, but with quantum mechanics, it works out.
Right. I fully understand. And I just wanted to, like I said, start from a place, maybe find a grounding for my foundation. But I want to be clear before I go into this, because I don't want you guys to think there's a curveball or a setup or anything. I'm not arguing for any religious God. I'm not arguing against any community to say rainbow is wrong or these things. I'm only trying to argue for there being an intention and things being like created deliberately. That's all. So I just want to lay that out first. So to start from
Understood.
though what I just said about laws, I guess I would say gravity, yes, it is still a theory, though one that has checked out many times. I would say cause and effect is similar. Some people don't think all things are cause and effect, but I would say I do. So I would say that these things point to some type of order, and I would even highlight that to say like the solar system is in a particular order, and things must be
Hi, Rabbi.
in a particular order. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so, no, Rabbi just had a drop. She's being hailed.
Okay.
She's
So I would
very,
just say
very
that
popular person.
Okay. So I would just say I think that things have to be in a particular order to be able to sustain or grow or expand, which, I would consider the core of whatever the creator is, some form of expansion. So I would start there and I would ask you, to what extent do you agree in order around us? I agree that some things don't make sense, but what degree do you feel we live in a world of order where things have to happen a certain way to produce the right outcome?
Personally, so I believe in chaos theory, right? So within chaos, and entropy, like things can look like order, right? So if you imagine like the pixels in a television screen, there's millions of pixels, right?
Yes.
And those pixels could randomly, just be noise, and it would look like static for most of the time. But
Yeah.
at certain points in time, given enough time, those pixels will arrange to make the Mona Lisa, for instance. They will order, be out of the disorder, there will be some order. Now, I want to go back, though, to what you were talking about with causality. And you were saying that, everything has a cause and effect. And then that would logically lead me to ask you, if God is there, then what caused God?
Well, I believe that within science, the theory is that there has to be an original cause that is outside of everything. But if I was to throw that away, because I know that's an easy answer, if I was to try to actually answer your question, I would say chaos caused God, or God came from chaos.
So chaos existed before God.
Correct. Yes.
So something existed before God.
Yes.
Yeah, I would then
Well,
appeal.
I want to be clear on what I said. God comes from the chaos. Order comes from chaos. So potentially you could say God was already there. God was just not always in order. God was the chaos, and God still is chaos along with order.
Oh, praise,
I'm just using
praise,
the word God.
Praise Thanatos, the god of chaos. Then,
Well, okay, to add on to what I just said, because I know you could take that from what I just said. With God being the order that comes from chaos, the closer you are to perfect order, the closer you actually are to God. It's kind of like man has a beast within him, and man has a very intelligent being within him. So the intelligent being is that of order, and the beast is that of chaos.
Well, it seems
So
like you're trying to say two things here, though, because
Okay.
you're saying that God comes from chaos, which means that chaos existed before God. But when we ask that, then you say, no, God is like existed with chaos. So then if that's the case, then I just want to make sure. So which is it? Did chaos exist before God, or does God coexist with chaos?
Well, to make it clear, I would say it's very similar to nature. Nature is within order, but there are clearly elements of chaos, tornadoes, hurricanes, fire, these things.
So what was my question, and how did that answer it?
Your question was, you acknowledged, well, you asked, did chaos come before God, or did God?
did we get a call?
No, I'm sorry. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said your question was, did chaos exist before God, or
Yep.
did God exist with chaos?
Yeah, so which is it?
I'm saying that there is no separation. To make it clear, the Big Bang, the universe. If you don't believe in God, then you believe the universe was already here. It just wasn't in order. Correct?
No, that's not what the Big Bang says at all. But so anyways, to make it clear then, you believe that God and chaos are codependent. So that goes back to Benny's question. Where did it come from?
Where now are you asking me where chaos came from or what?
Well, no, because you're saying that chaos and God coexist together, right? You can't have chaos without God and God without chaos. So where did God then come from if God is like always existed with chaos? Where did God come from?
Well, I will attempt to answer your question, but may I ask a question?
Sure. I mean, you've been polite.
Okay. So my question would be, from what you just asked me, my question would be, um, if something, do you believe that anything can be eternal, like even the Earth or planet or anything?
Oh, yeah, I believe the universe is eternal. I believe the universe has always existed.
Okay, well, I think when you challenge me with that question, obviously it's very difficult because even if I don't believe in God and I believe in the universe, I only have the knowledge to go back as far as we know. But from what I understand about what we know, and I don't separate science from God, is
Okay.
that the earth was a void, dense state, that the energy was already there, the heat, whatever you want to call it, something was already there, a presence. It wasn't nothingness, but at some point there was a bang or an extreme event to where things began to come into some type of order and expand.
It just so to be clear, so all the Big Bang states is that before the Big Bang happened, the universe was in a small, hot, dense state. That's what the universe was, and then something happened that caused it to rapidly expand. Right now,
Correct.
right, so that's all that states, right? Now we could infer from like the quantum eternity theorem, which utilizes the Schrodinger's equation. We can look at the DESI study that's been coming out. It appears that it could be the case that the universe just infinitely goes through a series of big bangs and big crunches, and it's just always been doing that. Now, through that, we would have the law of physics. We have physics. Now, if you have just one object, one piece of whatever, well, then the law of physics kicks in. The laws of physics kick in, and the universe would just naturally fall into how it is. We have no evidence that the universe could be any other way. There's no evidence of that.
Okay, so I want to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
From the evidence you have discovered, you feel that it is possible, for one, that the Earth, having the elements that it had, happened to over time fall into the correct place after failing to do so over a long period of time, and you believe that is what's more probable.
Those words never came out of my mouth.
No,
No,
I'm
no.
asking. I'm only asking. Sorry
Yeah.
if I
So no.
There's a couple theories. We're saying we don't know, right? Like, so there are, some things that when they look at the like very early universe, like post Big Bang, the galaxies do collect in a kind of an odd way that you would not expect if it were to come from like just one singular place. And that is where physical or like physics theorists,
Yes.
whatever they're called,
Yes.
they have like come up with the bubble universe theory, which if you think about it, it's like soap bubbles, where one bubble could be a universe and there could be another universe bubble that's right next to it. And like how soap bubbles will get like the kind of turn into one bigger bubble.
Yes.
That would explain why these like star clusters and galaxy clusters are where they are, but that's just a theory,
Yeah.
and that would, it would suggest some other, dimension or what have you, but it's something. It sounds more plausible to me than, like some creator, because
Yes, I
like
understand.
it's just, and it really, when it comes down to it, it's either there was a creator or there wasn't. And it just, from what we observe, we
don't
can
feel you
get to
found
this
the
point
evidence
without
for-
one.
Right. And I understand the perspective. And I feel like I'm just on the other side of the coin. We're both looking at whatever we may see and using that to come to our conclusions. I will say, from my perspective, is just that only thing I'm saying is I actually don't disagree with the possibility of it being a never-ending cycle and these concepts that you guys have mentioned. My only argument is that it is possible that it is deliberate because things are ordered in a particular way, whether that be our solar system. I don't get into multiverses because that's all really theory, but our solar system and the way that animals or beings have to be in order to sustain and develop. If there is no order, it seems that animals tend to go extinct or
Yeah.
Do
you know what? If
you
understand what I'm
understood
saying.
my pixel like example, right? About with chaos, like
Yes, but
perhaps that
I
we
was,
are in a
yeah, I'm sorry.
time, 13 billion years is a lot of time. And for atoms to rearrange, a lot can be done. And there's a lot of galaxies out there. We just, in like 2020, I think, released the James Webb Telescope, which can see as far back in time as like 13 billion years ago to like some of the very first galaxies. And there are galaxies all over the place. Like there are so many more than that they even thought were there, like with the Hubble telescope. And what I'm saying is that when you have this many, like possibilities for something, then sooner or later you're going to have something like a perfectly like distanced Earth from a star, which actually, the Goldilocks zone is not really like that perfect. You could actually sway the Earth in and out a little bit, but
In fact,
yeah, with the moon and how things seem to, kind of fit, then yeah, sure.
in
But
fact, Mars and Venus are both within the Goldilocks zone. It's just because of their atmospheres, they don't
Right.
sustain life, but they're within the Goldilocks zone.
I
so,
understand.
like it's just it's kind of demystifying, and I get that, but at the same time, it's like survivorship bias or what they would call like the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, which is the story goes is like somebody pews the side of a barn and then walks up to it and then draws the like bullseye around the bullet holes and says, "Hey,
That's
look."
how I win archery competitions, by the way.
And
But
like
with that said,
it's putting the cart before the horse, really. It's like putting the effect and making it the cause.
yep. And with that said, real quick, because I do gotta go. My girlfriend is like, "Come to my work. I'm on break. I want lunch with you." But when we take a look at, like he was saying, like the survivor thing, it's really easy to look at ourselves and the animals that we see and look. It had to be perfect for these creatures to get here. But what you're forgetting is that evolution is horrible. We've had a bunch of mass extinctions. Just for us to be here today, you have to realize how many other creatures, their mutations they had that were not selected for, and they went extinct because it is so chaotic and it's not perfect. It's so imperfect that there have been there's more extinct creatures today than have ever like actually lived today because evolution is not perfect and it's horrid. It's horrible.
Okay, in response to what you guys are saying is, I acknowledge that evolution has its things that you can look at and say, well, this isn't very intelligent, or this doesn't seem very, like a conscious mind would have done something like this. I totally acknowledge that. I think that what I'm saying, the question I'm begging, I guess, is that if we have consciousness, would you also believe that there's a consciousness behind nature, or these things are happening over a long period of time of like a not so intelligent experience?
Last statement I'll say, then I gotta hop off. I believe that consciousness is just a byproduct of having a brain, right? Having a mind, consciousness is a byproduct of having a brain. No brain, no consciousness. And in fact, we're able to like alter people's consciousness by manipulating their brain.
Fair enough.
But anyways, thanks for having me up, Benny. I'll hop
Love you,
on down. I
Cyber.
got
Oh,
it.
Jesus.
Love
you,
you too,
Cyber.
Benny.
It's so nice to see Cyber after so long. Yoso, you're welcome to keep discussing here. I don't have anybody else in the guest box. I do want
Okay.
to change this layout just a little bit though, because this is not my vibe. I don't even know.
Okay. So if I could maybe elaborate a little bit more on what we finished off on, me and him.
Sure.
So I did bring up conscious, and I heard his explanation, the byproduct of having a brain. I don't disagree to that. I think that there are different levels of consciousness, and beings are created with different capacities of the brain. But my question more so was, does the same way that we have consciousness, is it possible, or what is the likelihood of nature having consciousness? Meaning that if something is growing a particular way and something is hindering it, that nature itself has the consciousness to move around that thing so that it can continue to grow or survive, because I look at that as deliberate and I cannot assign randomness to that.
So consciousness, as I would understand it, is a mystery, right? Some people say that it is not even real. Some would say that it is an illusion. I don't know if I would subscribe to that exactly. I'm actually reading a book right now called oh shoot, what is it called? It's by David Chalmers. And it's about consciousness, and he has to make some assumptions, basically saying that consciousness is this thing that does exist, where some people would say that no, there's just, random electrodes or whatever firing off in your brain, and it's emergent from evolution. And I would say that sounds like a more reasonable explanation, but I haven't gotten into Chalmers's whole dissertation of what is consciousness. So
Yes, I understand.
Pending on that one,
It's a highly debated topic for sure.
oh, Lopes is
I think
here.
this.
Sorry, I got another buddy to come
No,
up.
it's all good. It's all good.
What's up, Lobes?
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll
You're
just be
fine.
really brief. What you were saying, I agree about consciousness and with cyber. All that we can know about consciousness is what we can study and observe, and it's still an open field of study. So what we can glean is that everything we know about consciousness and other mental faculties, they exist in the mind or in the brain somehow. And what cyber was saying, you can manipulate the brain and it'll have a direct result on the consciousness. To make an assertion that it is anything other than that is, I think, an assertion from incredulity, which is something that theists do all the time, and I don't know that they're always aware of it. But yeah, it's like whenever you jump to God, make sure you're not making an argument from incredulity. Like, I can't think of any other answer, I can't understand this, so it must be God. That's a fallacy that a lot of theists comes into. It's a God of the gaps kind of thing.
There's also
I'll be honest. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, consciousness to some is just the ability to interact with the outer world. So to some, like a nematode would have consciousness, but really it's just, whether or not it sees light, that's
Yes.
or it's some sort of the cilia on its side is able to experience something, and then it reacts to that. Is that consciousness, or is consciousness to the ability to experience the self? Some people conflate it with self-consciousness. So there's a lot of different kind of even interpretations of what is consciousness. But go on, what were you saying?
I was saying, I will be honest, first of all, my vocabulary isn't that deep, but when you say incredulity, judging by the context, you mean that if something is unexplainable, it must be God?
Yeah, I can't think of how this could be.
No, I get it. It's kind of like, the human is designed this well, so it has to be by the designer.
Yeah, but I
type of
think
argument.
that's kind of begging the question, though. Like, you're saying we're designed this well, and by saying it that way, you're kind of tricking yourself to jump to the conclusion already, instead of saying we're really complicated.
Right,
that would be a more fair, because that doesn't assume the conclusion and the premise, right?
Yes. And I don't want to do that. I'll say I acknowledge what you're saying, and that's something that I don't want to do. So just to continue what I was saying as far as when I first brought up consciousness, and I agree to what both of you are saying, that when you like extrapolate the idea of consciousness, it becomes very, it has many moving parts, so it's hard to identify it in a way. But when I refer to consciousness in this context, I'm only speaking of basically awareness. And maybe we could apply self-awareness, but I kind of used it to say within nature, if strictly within nature, if something is restricting something on the planet from growing or expanding, does it have the awareness to either move around or alter itself so that it can continue to grow or expand? Because I would consider that deliberate.
Lobes, if you wanted to say something.
What were you? So, what's your point? You're saying like if something is stopping something from growing or expanding, it's deliberate. I might have misunderstood you.
I'm saying if something within nature, like the best example I can basically make, like let's say a tree is growing or something, and maybe where the roots are, there's a stone, or above it, there's a stone or something that's hindering it from doing what it naturally does. Maybe even let's say there's a stone on top of where the tree may grow. In any of these circumstances, with that natural thing, do something deliberate so that it can survive, sustain, expand.
I don't think, if you're asking about like a tree, I don't think a tree would do anything deliberate. Like it's like trial and error, just like the rest of evolution. If it hits a stone, if it's roots trying to dig, if the root's trying to dig and then there's a rock in the way, it's going to know consciously, but it's going to fail at growing, and so it'll attempt doing something different. And then once it tries something moving a different direction, it'll actually make progress because it'll start getting more and more nutrients because the root is expanding around the stone and reaching more nutrient-rich soil. But it's not like it's consciously aware of it.
Right. That's like, oh God, I don't know if this is even appropriate.
But I gotta go.
You're fine.
Have a good rest
You're
of your
fine.
life.
Yeah, we can keep talking here. Yeah. So, have you ever heard of? They used to be called jumping beans. I don't want to say like the certain type.
I think so. Where you throw them on the ground and it's like a game.
No,
I maybe think about something. I maybe think about jacks or something.
There were like these seed pods that had moth larvae in them, and what they do is they would jump. And the point is that it would use this kind of phenomena of movement that trees would also use to get around a rock, which is, it just kind of randomly reaches out. And it uses that type of movement, which is like, I can't remember what type of movement it's called. Hold on. To get like to a place where it can then let the moth like grow. And I would say that that's a very like chaotic / like natural kind of like way to look at it, instead of like putting a purpose behind it. It's just like using just random vibrations, and this phenomena like moves it so much that it like does seem to have a sort of like, kind of
like a set of actions, kind of
like a intention to it,
Yes, somewhat. Yes,
it seems it's called Brownian motion. That's what it's called.
Okay.
For anybody who is a nerd, and you can experience Brownian motion when you put like food dye into like a glass of water and watch like the dye like spread out the way it does. That's that would be an example of Brownian motion, and it's really interesting that like these jumping beans, or moth larvae, if you will, do that and they do it to like get to more warmer areas. Yeah, huge nerd alert.
No, I like that type of information, and even though I consider I'm a believer, I do still love science, and I feel like if you do believe something, you shouldn't shy away from other perspectives or information, because it shouldn't be a threat to what you believe. So, I've enjoyed talking to you a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I'll come back in another time and we can continue the conversation.
I don't usually host this. It's usually my buddy Joyful. Something came up though, so I stepped in for him. But we're doing all right. We'll keep the show going. So I'll bid you adieu, and
right,
you have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, man.
Well, he was an awesome guest, W guest there. I actually really liked that conversation. See, I do like the greater kind of like God debate sometimes because you can get into like little nerdy stuff like Brownian motion, and that gets fun. But yeah, if there's anybody else who disagrees, mainly Christians, your God doesn't exist. Jesus does not exist. Jesus may have existed as like a person named Jesus, but Jesus in the heavens, the Jesus of the Bible, nah. And I can prove that. And I'm making that actual like positive claim that the Christian God does not exist. And while we're waiting, you know, I could keep going, I guess. Why that is because, well, there's really no like good reason for that God to exist. The God that is of the Old Testament or the Tanakh, if you will, is, oh, here's Crystal. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Benny, I just came up to talk with you while you're waiting for a guest.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Crystal would say tap that screen, everybody.
Say tap that screen. I would say tap that screen, share out the live. And why aren't we at 100 roses yet? Come on, y'all. They're just one little coin apiece. Get him up his gift goal so Joyful can be proud of him.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got somebody requesting up here. I'm not sure if, with this layout, sometimes people accidentally come up. Smooth one, are you there? Can I get your age and best evidence for God? Smooth, did you mean to come up?
For God to come out here and have guts for the integrity to even get in the tournament.
I have a feeling they didn't. Bye-bye. Anyways, Crystal, what were we saying? Saying tap that screen, share it out. Yeah, help me out here. I'm like drowning always. I don't know what I'm doing ever. I actually like tried to go live on my account earlier and it was just, yeah, TikTok wasn't being nice to me, but it seems to be nice over here.
You're doing wonderful. You're doing great.
Oh, and we hit the live goal. I will reset it here for Joyful. Set up a new one.
Thank you so much, La Paquette. Thank you, you guys,
Lilith,
everybody,
thank
for
you.
your gifts, your shares, your likes. Quincy, my cat, thank you for trying to knock my phone out of my hand. I love you, Quincy.
My cat has been just yowling in the background. I don't even know why. Probably because he's a tub and ate all of his little food that's on a like shelf.
Yeah, they love food. Kitties want to eat all the time.
The little crackheads like that for food. I don't know if you can say that on TikTok. But
For food. Maybe because you ended it with for food. It was like a disclaimer type of thing like that. For food. Okay.
They are that.
I am going to be cooking and listening. You know, I'm just up here to hang out with you, kind of.
Sure.
You know,
You're fine.
It's nice to have somebody to hang out with. But yeah, you guys make sure you're doing those things. We want to make sure that every time JA Debates goes live, the minimum amount of likes they reach by the end of the show is 100K, okay? So keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it out, and go start some fights with some Christians and some other lives, and then tell them Benny's talking smack about them over here and get them to come back over here.
You know what? Actually, I could bring my account up. Or I could bring up the deconstruction.
Club sandwiches for dinner with what I lovingly call bacon. I use Morningstar bacon and turkey to make it a little bit more healthy.
Yeah, that's fine as long as you get like kind of the same taste. I love club sandwiches. I actually am like currently still on my Benny's club sandwich tour of the world. I've had club sandwiches in quite a few different places, mostly because casinos always seem to have a club sandwich option. Actually, like every restaurant has a club sandwich option. So I usually just go with that when I don't.
Place will have that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put the extra piece of bread in it though, because we're trying to, watch the carbs, and you don't need it.
You
know,
don't.
it's not necessary.
It isn't necessary. Like God is not necessary for existence.
It's just not necessary.
Right. Hold on. I'm going to let my other account up just so it can get some love. There we go. Hey, look who's here. Hey, Benny, what's up?
Not much.
Can I get you?
I'll cook
Just
you.
turn your chair from one side to the other and talk to yourself like
I could like turn the camera on
Hey,
and
savage.
like do like a 2-camera kind of thing, but no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do all that. I'm not gonna do all that. What I
God
want to
is
do.
just extra carbs.
God is definitely extra carbs. That is like a really good analogy, actually. And get rid of them. You don't need them. They're empty carbs.
Those carbs, they're empty carbs. I'm telling you.
Jesus coming in the clouds. You don't need none of that. None of that. You could just cut it right out. You could take like the golden rule and stuff, but like you don't really need the Bible for that. Like just generally speaking, people can just like get along. Let's see here. We got somebody.
Mentally, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. Doing quite well.
Can I get your age?
I am over 18.
That works. Go ahead and talk with Benny.
Yeah. Do you have any evidence that the Christian God exists or that God exists in general?
Yes, I do. Would it be okay? First of all, would it be okay? I want to thank you for accepting me, to your live. But would it be okay if I came out the closet on your show?
Yeah. This is a perfect place to come out of the closet if you need to. If you like other guys, that's fine. I have a boyfriend.
Whoa! Slow down. Now, when I said come out of the closet on your show, I was referring to the fact that I am a black Satanist.
Well, I mean that's cool.
My problem is that if you can convince them not to believe in it, then what the fuck I'm gonna do?
Well, Satanists are usually just atheists. They're like the Satanism is.
Nope. Don't push us over there with them. Don't push us over there. Listen, we know it's make believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like.
Yeah, we know it's make believe.
Are usually just using like Satan as like kind of a like, hey, what if we replace the God with Satan, and like doesn't this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they go together.
See how funny like or ridiculous this is?
Yeah, exactly. They go together. I'm telling you, if you convince them to get rid of the God in the Bible, where I'm gonna go?
You can go to another live. Layman, can I get your age, and do you have any or do you believe that God exists?
Hey, yeah, I'm 33. I do believe God exists. Well,
You're coming in kind of like muffled. I don't know if you got like a finger over your mouth.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you way clearer. Sorry. What I usually do is my like pinky ends up going over the mic when I'm holding the phone, and it sounds like that. So what makes you believe that God exists?
Well, I have a relationship with him. For one, I also think that there's a mind behind all of creation.
Okay.
But
So
I think the strongest evidence that I have is that, after reading scripture, I've been led to
you've had like divine
God, and I
revelation.
can have a relationship with him.
It seems
Sorry.
like a one-way relationship. When I've spoken to others, especially people that have like deconstructed, it seems like they seem to have been talking to themselves the whole time.
Mm.
So like, do you like, has God done anything for you? Like, have you had a prayer answered or?
Yeah, I mean, he answers prayers all the time. Such as like when I'm angry, I can call on him, and the Spirit pushes the anger out and replaces it with his peace.
That sounds like
So like consistently, time and time again, he's able to do that. Those kind of things.
So the mind is a very powerful thing, and I would say that is a good technique. And if you do believe the placebo effect does show that these types of things, actually you don't even need to believe that the brain will do things like, you could probably ease yourself from anger or anxiety, especially if you like do things like pray. You don't necessarily have to even pray to anything. You could just pray to yourself, and you can still find that you get like some sort of peace, or anxiety, like relief from it. So I don't think that that's a really good evidence for me. Like it seems like you are asking yourself to not be angry, and you are then allowing yourself to not be so angry.
Well, that's a technique, right? Like meditation's a technique. What God does is he renews the heart. He gives you a new spirit. So there's a difference between having a technique, which is what you described, and actually being renewed.
So I guess like I'm just like a scientifically minded type of person. Like, how would you like describe this like renewal? Like, is this like the old one's gone and there's like a new one in?
Right. So the word repentance, I'm sure you've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Repentance means to change your mind or to change your heart. It's like an about face. You're heading north and now you're heading south. So it's a completely different identity that causes you to see reality and live reality completely differently than before.
So repenting is like an about face, is what you're saying. Like to repent is to go about face and to change directions suddenly. And I mean, like, I thought repent was just like a feeling of like remorse, or like to give up something. Like to repent is to like
repent is change your mind. So like today I don't, like, for example, like today you don't believe in God, but tomorrow you wake up and now you believe in God. It's 180 degrees changing of the heart and the mind.
A fundamental change of mind, heart, and life in the biblical sense. Okay, sure. All right. So you're saying that by repenting, that I am able to refresh the spirit and like take anger out, and that this is a healthy and like possible. Hey, there's Dugald. Dugald, you're supposed to be hosting with me, according to. Oh, there he is. According to Joyful. Hey, buddy.
Hi, guys. Sorry for all the craziness.
It's all right. It's not your fault. It's God's fault. Because now I believe in God. I've repented, apparently.
Yay.
Wait, what the hell did I miss?
Hold on. I do want to put us kind of like expand the vault here. I like this layout right here. All right. So, Layman, you're saying that that you can just change, and it's a God doing it. But this doesn't sound like it's anything outside of the brain. Like I still don't have any proof here that an outer force is causing any sort of change. You know, like I said, placebo effect in the brain are very powerful things. So by doing something like, you know, easing your anxiety or telling yourself or preparing yourself, you know, like, or catching yourself before you might have a panic attack, or you might have like, you know, seeing red when you get very angry. Your brain can, you know, catch those triggers. That's just you being aware, you know, of yourself, like being self-aware. So I don't see how like that would be good evidence for like God. Now, if you said that like God changed the colors of your eyes or something, like that might be like a little bit easier for me to understand. Or say like God made it so you could fly, or that Dugald's bulldog could have blue eyes.
So, like physical transformations, you need to see like a scientific physical thing.
Well, yeah, something that I could, I guess, observe. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical in a way that, you know, like, I guess, as long as I could like measure it and see like some sort of proof of God, right? Like, so, like if you said, God, turn on the lights in this room, which my lights are off, except for my ring light, you know, I'd probably be pretty like astounded if my lights just turned on. You know, or like if you said like, even actually, like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of another like not so physical proof, but I guess it would be physical if it's observable in any sort of manner. So yeah, I would need something physical. Do you have anything physical that's ever like been proven? Like, did you pray for something physical to happen and it did?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like, you know, take my career for example. Before coming to Christ, trying to figure out my career, make something of myself, it's a nightmare. It was like trying to build a career with like both hands tied behind my back. But when I surrendered my career, gave it to him, I was like, Father, like, I don't care what it is, just fix this, because I can't keep doing this the way I'm doing it. Over the course of several months, he put me in the right company with the right people, under the right leadership, with the right mission. Gave me an opportunity to witness to others. I enjoy my job. It's challenging, but you know, I mean, that's just one example of how when I surrendered in the physical world, my life got better. So like, he doesn't spend a lot of time changing eye color, or you know, doing other things like that. It's a
I'm
spiritual
just
book.
wondering.
He says
Sorry,
like
I don't
the
mean to
king.
cut you off, but I'm just wondering, like, why would God like put you before like somebody that's like praying for food? You know, like to come into their hands or something. Like, so for somebody to maybe like bring them a meal. Like, why would God choose to like give your career choice options like a better opportunity for you? Over, you know, like some people starving. I just don't understand like that. Is it because you pray more or like you believe better?
I don't know. I mean, Scripture tells us that, you know, Jesus says like, just don't worry about what you will eat or what you will drink. Your Father knows that you need these things, but
Yeah, those
seek
are
first the
really
kingdom of
bad.
heaven and His righteousness, and then all these things will be added to you.
Right. That's the
So he
section,
knows,
the
like,
cure for
oh, I'm
anxiety,
sorry, go ahead.
where he says, you know, like, does the flower worry about the rain and things like that. But the thing is that no, the flower doesn't worry about the rain, but that's also like really bad advice. Like, just don't worry about it. Like, that's just not good advice. Like, you should probably be a little prepared or like forewarned about some things. You shouldn't just be like surrender yourself, you know, and just let Jesus take the wheel. Like, if that were the case, then I guess I could just not drive myself to work.
right? Like it's just giving it up to God. Like I've tried that before when I was a believer, and it didn't change or yield anything. I still had to put in work for things to change.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you said that you put your career up to him. What changed? Like, was it an automatic change? Like, what happened?
So first thing I got let go from my job.
Okay.
Which kind of like, allowed me the opportunity to look for an opportunity that would suit his purposes, so suit my purposes through him better. So he put me into a hospital where I'm helping our teams roll out new technology that makes patients' lives better. The guy that's training me is a Christian who's very patient.
Hold on a second. When you say he put you in that position, did you not apply for it?
Yeah, just be clear. I'm not advocating to just sit in the house and do nothing and just wait.
Right.
You have to
I'm
work.
I'm not saying you are. What I'm trying to get at is when you say you put it up to God and things changed. Mm-hmm. When you tell us, when we hear Christians, including you in this story, when we hear you guys say these things, we always hear you guys putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And things change.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys put in the work and didn't have this belief, things would still change. Does it always work out? No, that's literally just how life is. But overall, if you're putting in the work and you don't stop putting in the work, things will always change. This God didn't do that. You did. It's like when we hear believers say, I was cured of my cancer. Screw the doctors that went, decades of their lives to school and study and research and medication and all that. Screw all them. Thank God did it. Meanwhile, there are other believers who are literally in the bed next door, passing away with the same prayers on their breath.
Right. Like, for instance, I actually had cancer, and I was cured of it. And people tried to pray for me. I told them to not. And I actually, was trying to even play into their beliefs and say, I deny these prayers because I'm not a believer. And I did get cured of the cancer. Are you saying that God cured me, or was it the surgeon that cut all the metastasized cancer out of me?
Well, the surgeon is like the hands of God. So, God could easily have let you have passed away or, saved you.
You see how
but he chose to save you through the surgeon's hands.
You see how that negates the surgeon completely, right?
Right. I would say the surgeon saved my life. I had to actually travel to a different state just to go specifically to the surgeon because not many people knew how to do the surgery.
Sure. But that surgeon, who knows what could have happened during that procedure? He could have nicked the wrong artery. He could have might not caught all the cancer.
And I was aware of that before I went under, right?
There's a million different things that could have happened.
But there are thousands and thousands of surgeons out there, and that's a possibility for all of them. Just because your doctor was successful, that doesn't mean that the other ones aren't successful either.
Sure.
So,
right, and then
I guess what I'm trying to allude to is there was we'll kind of frame it this way. There was a study, I can't remember when it was, but there's a study that they did on believers and non on the power of prayer. I've done this study a few times now, as a matter of fact. They have found that people who didn't believe had the same outcomes as the people who believed and prayed had the same outcomes as those who did not pray. In other words, they've said that a lot of cases they found it to be worse because they give their faith up or their problem up to this God and often didn't get the right kind of help for whatever thing that they're facing, right? So if they're looking at this and they're saying prayer due to the misguidance it can give some people. If their outcomes tend to be worse than those who don't believe, how do you reconcile that?
Right, and
Not
see-
too sure. I don't
Also,
know.
like with my belief, like a trained surgeon that was very careful at what he did. It took him like 13 hours to do the surgery. Actually, like 10 hours of actual like surgeon time. There's prep and then there's afterwards. That was something that he had to like spend years like perfecting and learning from a surgeon above him. And like this is not just something that was like predetermined, I guess. Then like, was this like a plan of God? Now we're like wondering about free will. It's just, in my belief, this surgeon was trained, has done thousands of these surgeries, and was able to do it, probably because he's like the top surgeon in that field for that specific surgery at the moment. And that makes sense. And like, out of all of this, like, why would I want God to help me when I have a surgeon that's completely capable to do all these things? God can go and help somebody else out, like help out some kid that's starving on the street. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys are asking great questions. I mean, the questions above my pay grade.
What I would
from my experience, he cares infinitely more about the heart than he does the physical realm. This world is passing away. It's a flash in the pan, Scripture talks about, compared to eternity. And from my experience, the book speaks strictly, solely, I would even say, about the spiritual relationship between you and God, and that's what I've found.
But doesn't that negate like what we have right now? What we know we have? Like we know we are alive right now, and we, like, you obviously, when you lost your job, and I've lost my job before too, and like, I felt like, searching and searching didn't really do anything, so I stopped searching, and then I noticed that, like, I got an email, and it almost seemed like, oh, well, maybe it's like when they say, like, once you stop looking so hard, it'll find you, kind of thing. But really, it's just, you put in the work, it paid off. But to say, like, there's this spiritual eternity, now we're like, does it even matter? If you lost your job, why even care? And that's what, like, Jesus is saying, is like, why even care? Just surrender, like, go with the flow. I got you. And then, but if you think about that, that's like not really good advice. Like that means, like, don't feed yourself. Don't eat. Just expect to, be like, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't say. I mean, that's not what he's getting at. Like, of course you need to eat and take care of yourself.
Yeah, but actually, no, it's way worse than that, Benny. It's even bigger than that. You even kind of set the banners kind of in the way. My dog, sorry. Banners in the way. Benny, I can't see your username. There it is. Okay. Layman. So what you said before is like, oh, it's above my pay grade. This is a dying world anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's literally the mentality. That's the danger, though. Like you're saying, oh, well, it's God's will. This world's dying. So, fuck what's happening here. There's not much we can do about it in the end. So I'll just pay attention to me and my own for now until it's all done. That's kind of the vibe that gives. And that's literally the problem, because people have this belief. They're willing to say, fuck everything and everybody else. They're about lack of empathy. It destroys empathy. It destroys the critical thought of everything, and instead garners this idea that we can just let the world go to shit.
And we're not saying that you specifically are like
you
seem like a really nice person,
right? But that overall mentality, just based on those words you used, that's the conclusion that gets drawn from that, from people outside of your belief.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at Jesus, we see an empathetic man. So it's definitely not calling us to like only care about ourselves. In fact, that's the opposite, right?
Well, it
Jesus says,
does,
like, I give you two new commands: to love your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and to love your brother as yourself.
but it
So
does.
that's
But it does, though, and the reason I'm going to push back on that is because the very phrase you used is basically the world's going to shit. There's nothing we can do about it. It's dying. And when you read this story of what Jesus is going to do when he returns, it's not a peaceful return. It's not a happy return for anybody.
it is for Christians.
No, it's not. Yeah, because you guys get to go around murdering and raping people. Like,
Well, no, because we get to spend eternity with Christ when he
no,
returns.
read your book. He is going to call on you to help him with the sword part.
Yeah, the chosen are. Whoa, I'm coming in stereo. I unmuted myself somehow. The chosen are supposed to help out in deciding in judgment, right? Aren't they? Isn't that part of it?
But basically, when he comes down with the sword to basically cleanse the entire earth, Christians will be helping him. Well, technically not. Christians can be Israelites, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, you guys are going to be helping him in this. This isn't.
Well, when Christ returns, it says that he's going to defeat sin and Satan with the breath of his mouth. We don't see Christians picking up a sword and murdering anybody.
What does it say exactly? Let me pull it up.
Now, we will be judging the world, right? So, like, we'll be judging in righteousness with Christ at the helm.
Right, but that's. Hold on. We're going to look it up.
Well, there's speak of like in Matthew, it's like he will send them to the furnace where there's like weeping and gnashing of teeth, separating the goats from the lambs. I'm trying to think too. I believe that like he will come with a sword. He will split house, father from son, mother from daughter.
That's the stuff I'm looking for. Yes.
Yeah,
The splitting of the families, he's bringing torture, and he's not excluding you guys and being part of it. Like, this is literally what I'm talking about. You guys have put this in this mythos that's just like so outlandish, and you don't hear how outlandish it is. But if I were to put these things in the context of any other religion, you all would call us crazy. Call it crazy. You wouldn't believe it. Vishnu, Zeus, Odin. Same type of stories, though. But yet you believe these with the same amount of evidence. I don't get it. Because
let's take
the entire thing causes harm based on just the little bit that we've talked about so far. The way you all don't care about this world because of what you think is going to happen.
Right, and that's the difference, right? Like, the difference is, from an atheist perspective or an agnostic, this is it. This lifetime is it. So yeah, I mean, from your perspective, I would agree with you. Like, it would be better to just try to make peace with everybody.
The atheist belief is not what's relevant. To my point, I'm talking about the Christian belief. And what's going
right? So to finish that
thought, you guys have the same amount of evidence as literally every other religion, but you believe this to be true to the point where you cause a detriment to other people without even knowing it. Like I said, based on that sentence you said earlier about the end of days and all that kind of stuff, that's a harm you cause to those who live in the reality that we know for a fact we have right now. That's the whole point we're talking here.
Right, and the difference is I believe that there is an afterlife. There's a bigger and better thing to come, and this is a test for
the
that.
reality you know now. That you don't know for the afterlife. You believe in afterlife, you don't know it. And it's at the detriment of the life you live now that you have, that is guaranteed, that you know.
right. And that's like, where a lot of people have, with that kind of like thought process, have demeaned others, like whole groups of people, because they need to save them for that afterlife. I mean, like, look at the Mormons, like that's like their whole thing. And there's like a completely other part of it, you know, like where like treating people that are different as sinners, like to try and save them, like with like conversion therapy, which is very, very harmful. You know, like it doesn't work. It just ends up being very harmful for the person that has to go through it. And I just don't understand, you know, like why there's this idea that people feel like they need to save the other. Maybe because Jesus says, you know, if you don't, then they will be eternally burned. And that's like kind of just also bad advice. Like he doesn't really prove that. It's not really written about in anywhere else other than the New Testament. And it seems to be, you know, like kind of taken from like the Greek religion, the Hellenism, where Tartarus is where this, like, you know, place of torture for those that deserve it. I don't know why it became this like hellscape. And some Christians will say like, oh, it actually just means like separation from God, and that just sounds to me like annihilation and whatever. Like, so I don't know where like the fire and stuff comes in and the gnashing of teeth, but you like, do you see how like that could be a little bit harmful for people that are just kind of like trying to, you know, do their thing right now?
Yeah, I mean, again, if this is it, if this is the one life you have, of course. But if we're trying to, you know, separate, you know, if God is trying to separate the righteous from the unrighteous so that we can build an eternity in paradise with Him, then it makes total sense. You know, He said, "I don't come to bring peace; I come to bring a sword." Right? To divide family, brother and sister. That is the difference between righteous and unrighteous. Some people are not going to believe, and others are, and those who do will have everlasting life.
You think it's righteous to tear families apart all based on non-belief and belief in this one God that you literally have no proof of? You have no way to know this God is even real.
Sure you can.
And you're at the detriment of others. Like, for example, this entire war in Gaza, people are cheering it on the Christian side. It has so much financial backing from Christians to Israelis because they think it's going to help bring about the second coming of their Jesus, or third or fourth coming. I don't know how many times it's been now in this damn book. He's been and died and came back. Like, it's literally at the detriment to other people. You guys force this stuff when you go to voting booths. You guys force this stuff in billboards, front doors, pamphlets, churches every 500 feet, proselytizing in the streets, going to pride events and other events that doesn't comport with what you all think should be. And you cause a harm to other people. All for a belief that you cannot prove and have no way to know is true, other than your belief in it.
Yeah, and it can sometimes lead to this like sad like outcome of where people that may not fit into your beliefs are told by people that are leaders in your belief that they are sinners, or they're bad, they were wrong, that they made a choice that maybe wasn't a choice at all, and that like that can do some like major psychological damage.
Sure. Yep.
All right, Layman. Well, it's been good talking to you. I actually hope you have a good time with your job. I hope you you know, end up like surpassing your Christian boss and maybe deconstructing him while you deconstruct at the same time and make money, and then, you know, like you can come hang out with us. So with that, I do want to bid you adieu and thank you for coming up.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Talk to you later, Layman.
Yeah. Thibaut Gasha, are you there? Did you mean to come up?
Tebow. Tebow.
Hello.
Hello?
Spencer. Mutale, hi. Can I get your age and best evidence for God, please?
Hi, my age is 28, and best evidence for God. Well, really, I don't have any evidence for God that I can.
Oh, I mean,
but I have.
do you believe in God?
Yeah.
The Christian God?
Yes.
So is Jesus this
A
God?
better way to say it is I'm persuaded to believe that God exists, right? And
So, well, hold on. How are you persuaded if you don't have evidence?
again, I don't. By evidence, I know what you. The reason I say I don't have evidence, right, is because I don't have like physical, empirical evidence to show that God doesn't exist, right? But
Do you have anything that
God,
exists outside of your own mind?
what's that?
Anything that exists outside your own mind.
Yeah, like a piece of paper that said like, "Hey, I'm God," and like you watched like the pencil like get up and write it,
Great.
or something. And you have a video of that too.
Are you saying I would believe that was God?
We're just saying, do you
That's
have
an
anything outside of
example
your
something
mind?
outside your brain. Something outside of your
No.
mind.
So, okay, a better way to explain it is this, right? I have no logical reason to believe God doesn't exist.
Other than, so it's taken completely on faith.
Right, yeah, that's what I said in the beginning.
Right, and that's...
I don't have evidence, I just have faith.
So if all we have is faith is no different than somebody's imagination, really. So what is the point of that?
Okay, so let's try to reverse that, right? Do you have a logical reason why God does not exist or cannot exist?
Well, the Christian
Yeah,
God?
because it makes no logical sense. The Christian God especially...
No, that makes very much logical sense. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
So the Christian God,
It's just a simple question.
there's the logical
I
problems.
just said, because the Christian God makes no sense.
And there's
Okay.
the problems that,
What's
that
the logical problem?
Jesus does not fulfill any of the messianic prophecies. The whole book of the New Testament, books of the New
Okay,
Testament.
before we get to Jesus, right? Because that's gonna be a lot of scripture. I think just God and the concept of God is easier to understand, right? Before we move on, right? I said I believe in God. I have faith in God. I do not have empirical evidence. I'm persuaded to believe in God because of my experiences, the things that I observe, and also I do not have any logical or rational reason to believe there is no God.
Right.
So I asked you, do you have a logical or rational reason why you believe there's no God?
Yes, and my answer was
That would
he
probably
is
help
not
me out.
logical. And I just said he is not logical nor rational, so I don't understand what you're talking about.
What do you mean by he's not? What laws of logic does God break? Like the concept of
Well,
God. What laws of
Here's
logic does that break?
the tri-omni factors that you all give your God make no sense, because then you then have to go in and explain all
Okay, so you're talking
impossibilities
about the
of that.
biblical God. Can we just talk
Are
about...
you going to let me actually talk, or are you just going to keep cutting me off? Or what are we doing?
Okay, go ahead.
So you would have to sit there and figure out and apologize for all the entailments that come with you making this tri-omni God figure. And there are a lot of logical entailment and logical fallacies that come along with that.
Okay. See, if we have to debate that, right? Again, because you went straight to the scripture like the host tried to do and went to Jesus Christ. That's why I said if we could just keep it simple.
Well, I asked
Do you believe there's a creator of the universe?
Okay.
How about that?
Sure.
Not a triune God, not all the complicated details. Do you have a logical reason that
Right.
the universe does not have a creator?
Yeah.
How about that?
Unnecessary suffering. Like, what would be the point? And also, this
What?
God, is this God as a creator, is this God within time? Does free will exist? Like, see, I can explain why we are here without using a God. So I use Occam's razor. And it seems like the simplest answer is probably the most likely. That is what Occam's razor is. Pull who up?
I
Libra.
got you. So real quick, I guess I'll just go off of one thing. You said it's not logical for the universe to have a creator because of suffering. Can you show me how that follows?
Well, so
like, why
if
is
the creator
that
is
illogical?
perfect, why would suffering exist? You know, like, so would you not agree that, are you saying that the creator is not perfect?
No, I'm not saying that.
I haven't seen hair in a long time.
So we're assuming then that the creator is got to be some sort of like perfect being or some sort of all-powerful being.
Right.
Think is the best. So I think you just stopped my whole like train of thought. All-powerful being. If this God is creating the universe, then why would things like suffering exist? Why would, you know, like disorder in general exist? In fact, if there was a period before creation and God was perfect, I don't see why God would create at all. Because everything seems to be perfect. Like in logical ways, like I could write the syllogism out, like, you know, with perfection, do you need anything else? And no. And if God is perfect, then why would you need to create?
Because that just could be a characteristic of God. The fact that He's creative and he or whatever that being is would like to express themselves. If you say that they were perfect, it's like you're trying to imply that they were lacking something. You don't always have to lack something to express or create. You could just simply create because
perfect would mean they're not lacking something.
Right. That's what I'm telling you. I'm saying that you don't have to lack to create something. You could create something just simply because you're creative.
But a perfect thing doesn't make an imperfect thing. That's impossible.
Right, but it's imperfect to your perspective. That's your point of view. Like that God could have the way. No, listen. The way that the universe is right now could have been exactly the way that the God or the creator wanted it to be. It's imperfect to you. That's your.
No,
who said that it's
is in fact imperfect.
Then
no,
why,
it's not.
Why
That's
couldn't he have made it better?
We're losing our mood.
Better. Okay, what's the better? What's the standard of better? That's gonna have to be your opinion of what better would be based on your experience.
You're not listening.
No, I'm listening.
I'm telling you, the universe itself is not perfect because we are losing our moon. The planet is slowly going to be engulfed by the sun at some point. Our galaxy is going to collide into another galaxy. Everything is eventually going to suck itself back in and or possibly die a slow heat death. None of it is perfect. It's not perfect just because it works, and it works over an extended period of time, doesn't mean.
And it's imperfect because it's gonna end, is what you're saying, pretty much.
No,
not really end, but
because you said the sun,
it's going to change drastically to us. It's going to seem like death because nothing alive will be alive anymore.
Right,
will
but
always
what if
exist
that
in some form? It always has.
Right, I know, and so the only reason that is imperfect is because you cease to exist. Right? Let's say if I was
what I said at all.
No, yeah. Okay, so again, right?
I would say that the fact that I do exist, the fact that we exist, makes it imperfect. If God was perfect before creation, why would you make that perfection any different? Logically entailing. I'm just saying, like, perfection would entail that it would want to stay in a perfect state. So
even bigger scale, perfection wouldn't be jealous. Perfection wouldn't be wrathful. Perfection wouldn't need to have worship. Perfection would
Right.
not require blood went to its own rules to things. Perfection would not need any of this, and it would not want any of this because it's not perfect. He even says, and he would not regret above all. And even in the book, he says he regrets making this. It's not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect.
Right, and like I was saying, you know, like we have to give all these rules to this creator. Like, again, are they within time? Are they outside of time? Did they create time?
Which that makes no sense anyway.
I think time is just a result of the creation process of the universe and the fact that matter is expanding.
How if you need time to create?
What?
So, like,
If
the
you
time we
need-
observe is what you're speaking of, but like some sort of time would have to be used to create, because you would have a before creation and then after.
Right.
So
So,
some
time
sort
is necessary for creation. So you can't create time because it's required for time. It's required
No,
for creation.
no. Time, in our perspective, sir, would be the point of reference, right, from the beginning of when matter and space starts to expand, right?
Right.
The displacement,
It's all
the
relative
distance
here.
is
That's not the point. No, listen. Because here's the thing: if you have it doesn't matter if this God exists outside of time, in time, around time, upside down of time.
Right. Okay.
Listen. So, in order to create, there's no way for this to go any other way, but except for there being a point where there was not a thing that was created, and a point where there was a thing that was created. Otherwise, there's no such thing as a beginning, right? So, in order for that to happen, there has to have been time, because there was still a before the thing and an after the thing. So time is required, because no matter how you slice it, there is a requirement of a before the thing and an after the thing, which is a denotation of time.
Right, but that only applies for matter.
No, it doesn't. It
Physical
applies for
stuff.
literally
What else does it apply for?
even your God, because if he existed outside of time, that means there's no way to take an action. An action
I know, but
requires a
what
before and
else
after.
does
This God is
time apply
immobile.
for
He can do
other
anything.
than space and matter?
We are all part of
Which
space
is the
and matter,
universe.
and your God has to interact with space and matter. So it doesn't matter what you're talking about. If he's
you're
going to
literally
create, it
Do you know
requires
that
space and matter to have creation. That's what he's creating. So if he is going to create, he still requires time. Time has to have already exist for him to create.
No, the moment that matter emerges, time has to. That's when time emerges. The moment that space and matter emerges,
but you are
moment that
again,
time emerges.
You are still ignoring the fact that there has to be a before that thing existed,
Right, but God
and an
is
after.
not. God
You can't
is
get
not
around that. You're
physical.
literally trying
Right,
to say
God,
that
when-
that's
I'm
not
not-
relevant, but that's literally the whole point.
Right, but what you're talking about applies to space and matter, right? God
It
is not
requires everything.
space and
It
matter.
doesn't matter space and matter. Everything has to fall under that, even your God, because
What else?
there's
But
still
how?
a point where
How
your
do you know
God
that?
created a thing and thought of it, and a point after he created the thing and thought of it. There's still a before and an after. It's still time.
What's there before and after if there's no universe?
Well, I don't believe
If there's no
always
material
been a
thing,
universe, but that's
if there's no material thing, right? That's why it's confusing. But we jumped from talking about the fact that
Doesn't that
just
make
because there's
God
suffering
kind of
in
like
the universe makes it imperfect.
Doesn't that make
does
God
not logically
seem a little
follow.
illogical then? Like, is God just sitting in nothing?
because if God is outside of time, he's immobile, because he can't take an action without time existing, because he requires a before he thought or before he acted to an after he thought and an after he acted. He still requires time himself in some form. Even if it's not the same time we experience, he still requires it.
There's no other time other than in relation
Then your
to
God
matter and
is not
space.
real,
Sorry.
because if he can't create the time that he creates, he's not real. Like that makes
But
no sense.
okay, so we've jumped from a lot of things, right? I just want to go back real quick, right? So your logical reason to say that there is no God is the fact that the universe is imperfect.
That's just
My
one.
argument to
That's
that
just
is
one.
yeah, that's just one, right? So we gotta go step by step. My argument to that is your opinion. The fact that the universe is gonna end at some point does not entail that God, that's an imperfect plan of
Nobody
God.
said
That
it
should have
was
very
going
well been
to
God's
end.
plan from the very
I
beginning.
never claimed it was going to end. Nobody did.
So okay, maybe I
believe
misheard
the
you. Why
universe
is it
itself is
imperfect?
eternal. I think the universe is eternal. Matter and
So then
energy
why
cannot
is it
be made
imperfect?
nor destroyed, so it's always been.
It's imperfect
Okay,
because
so why is
of
it imperfect?
chaos.
So you can fathom the universe being eternal, but you can't fathom something immaterial being eternal. You can
Yes,
fathom
because you
something
have to add
physical and
so much
material being
extra
eternal.
shit to yours to make it work.
There's not so what you have so much extra shit to the fact that matter
Yes.
is eternal. That's what
All
you
we
have
have to
Not
do
really.
is say that it always existed, and that's it, because we can prove that. But when you talk about your God, you have to add in the angels, the lore, Jesus, Adam and Eve, Moses, the flood, parting, talking donkeys, talking snakes, fucking burning bushes, goddamn people walking on water, water to wine, manna raining from heaven.
Right.
All
Okay,
this
so
mythological
this
shit
is
that nobody
I
knows.
got you, bro. Let's go with
Like,
your one point. This is why that is illogical that the universe is eternal,
he's
okay?
literally
Is
talking
the
about
universe
magic, and you're
expanding?
saying that I'm illogical?
Is the universe expanding? Is the universe expanding? Do we
At
have
different rates,
scientific
yes.
evidence
Yeah.
that the universe is expanding?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh,
Yes.
is it expanding from a point? Has it been eternally expanding from, sir?
From a
Yeah.
point, you do know that the Big Bang does not claim
You
what
see how you
happens
logically
before.
can't grasp
But
that something has been eternally expanding? It had to have a
I'm
starting
going to
point.
explain. If you're going to want me to respond, I'm going to respond. You have already started off wrong. I already know what you're headed toward. The Big Bang in and of itself does not claim what happened beforehand. So going toward the Big Bang is not going to help you. Also, if matter and energy
I'm not
can't
talking
be,
about the Big Bang.
created nor destroyed, then that means that the energy that existed before the Bang has always existed and always will exist in some form. It's just not in the way that we know it now.
Right. So
Right, but I'm talking about the matter that's expanding.
Same thing.
Right.
It's the same shit. It doesn't
energy
matter.
and matter
Right,
are
right.
relative.
We can see
They're
that
not.
the distance between our galaxy and certain galaxies is expanding, right?
And it's
So what?
colliding in others. That has nothing to do with it.
Okay, so you dispute the fact that the universe is expanding.
I am
Pretty
not
much.
disputing that. You were missed everything we said because you don't.
Okay, what is it expanding from?
First and foremost, it's expanding from
Did it
what
have
they
a starting
believe.
point?
Do you want me to actually
like
answer the
Mezzo's
fucking
saying,
question? Or not?
space is expanding, and like matter isn't, and energy
Right. The
is
space
relative
between the
to that
matter is
matter.
expanding.
But the universe, as we know it, like the fields of which, you know, like the Higgs field, or like the, as they say, like dark energy or whatever they want to call it, that matter is within, is expanding like from a singular point, is what it looks like. We just
And nobody-
don't know.
And
Like
nobody
once you go
says
so
that
far
it's-
back.
And there's theories out there that there contains big expansions and then big crunches. There's ones that talk about it forever expanding because something got messed up, and this is the last hurrah. Nobody knows.
Okay, so
I've heard
we can settle on we don't know how the universe started and
No,
why
but
it's
that
expanding.
doesn't mean because I don't.
No,
know
I'm not saying
something
that.
we throw
I'm
a
not
God
saying
there.
that. I'm not saying just because we don't know how the universe started, so God. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, can we agree that we don't know? I don't know and you don't know.
We don't know, but we have pretty strong evidence as to what's probably going to happen.
All right, I got you. Now, the second point was that you said that it is illogical for God to exist because there's suffering in the universe. And I asked you how it follows. And I didn't get an answer. Why is it illogical for there to be a God? Because there's suffering, which that
Because you
suffering
claim
is
that this God
relative
is
to
all
the
good.
observer.
Claim that this God is all good, and all good God would not want or need unnecessary suffering on the things that it created.
Why is that? Why?
Why? Do you want people to to
But
unalive
I'm
or
not
be
God.
harmed or any of that?
Right. That's why I'm saying that I would have to use my opinion to judge on if the universe
No,
is
you do
perfect
it
or not.
with
Because you have to
empathy.
ask me, if you were God,
If
would you
your
do
God
that?
is good, he would have empathy and he would know what suffering is if he's all knowing as well. So if he knows what that is, and this is unnecessary suffering, the word unnecessary being the most operative word there, then he would not want nor allow that, because he's also all powerful by your standards, which means he could make a universe or a world where that does not need to happen.
Right. Michaela had a question. What was your question, Michaela?
Hello,
Hey.
everyone. Sorry, I
I'm
have a bit of
joyful
a
today.
headache.
I'm JA
That's
Debate
good.
Scholar.
I'm with you there. I'm with you. I was on a different panel just now, and honestly, my head hurts so much. I know. I'm not crying. That sounded a little dramatic. My bad. Okay. Anyway, are you saying, based off what I heard while you were talking to this other gentleman over here, you are saying that God must be perfect in order to exist?
To create the universe, I'm not saying that God must be perfect.
What's the Christian claim typically?
Yeah, the claim
we don't believe
is,
in the God.
I mean, like, honestly, an imperfect God would make more logical sense. Like in the Jewish take on God is that God is imperfect. That's why God takes a rest on the seventh day,
Why they wrestle him.
and yeah, why they wrestle with him. But
I'm so
beyond
sorry.
that-
I was listening. Someone asked me a question just now. Can you summarize what you had just said? I apologize.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, an imperfect God would make more sense because there is suffering, right? So, like, some kind of sick, maybe like Loki type of God that is taking pleasure in the like game of chess or holding the like magnifying glass to the ants kind of God. That would make more sense.
The war storm God that he was originally described as.
What did Bulldog say just now, like right now?
Yahweh, I said, or he would be the original war and thunder God that he was originally described as.
Which is Yahweh.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Sorry, my head does hurt a bit. Can you pose a question for me? Or would you like me to say something?
Well, so you're not completely like committed to the Christian God, are you?
Well, from my understanding is that God is a title. And then the way they reference him in the Bible are names that people have given him.
So are you and Mutale in agreement at all? Like, would you say that you're on the same side as him, or are you just like kind of...
Mutale?
If I'm pronouncing that right.
Oh, you're referring to the person next to me.
Yeah, Mr. Chilumba.
Okay, no. I heard what he said. I do not agree with everything he said. Okay. I heard some of what he said. Sorry. If you will give me some patience, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so my original question was, God must be perfect in order to exist. But you addressed that by saying
the Christian God
it's
does.
more likely.
Yeah, the Christian version of that God does, yes.
The Christian version of that God.
The Jewish version of God doesn't, but the Christian does.
Because they ascribe the triomni properties to him. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient.
All powerful, all knowing, all good.
Can you give me a
Omnibenevolent, that's what it is.
Judaism is related to Christianity in a way. Can you?
Christianity is an appropriation of Judaism's origins and traditions.
Yes. Okay.
And then changed based on a different central figure.
Okay. Yes. Agreed. Bulldog, you've been in some of the panels that I've been on before, right?
Mm-hmm. I was in Flux earlier with you, yes.
Oh, cool. That was a good one, right? Wasn't that nice? Gosh, I loved that. And then I went to a different panel and like, oh my God, they were cooking the guy who has the same like identification as I do, but but they kicked me out and they wouldn't let me speak. And like, I asked why, and they were like, we don't want you. And I was like, okay, cool, I guess. But
that's just because they get defensive about their hardcore dogmatic beliefs. But
yeah, it was a pretty hardcore like prompt. It's like, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So can we talk about the percentage of the population that believes in scientific theory?
I can't give you that because that's going to vary, and it also is going to depend because a lot of people don't even know what that means technically.
Okay, so one that is considered a theory, but has enough evidence to also be stated as fact would be the
gravitational theory. Is that what you're asking me, or germ theory?
No. It's actually different. It's the disease theory that like it comes from germs.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but everybody in the audience really wants to get back on topic. They're like, why are we just changing everything? Why is she derailing the conversation? Can we talk about why God does not exist? Because that's what everybody's,
Michaela's a little closer to the friendly side, so this may not be the best panel for you, Michaela. Stop by Fluffer Minds again some other time, though. They're going to put you back down in the comments for now, okay?
Thanks.
Yeah,
Richard.
Some panels just are for debates, Michaela, so they're not so happy about the questions. So I apologize, but hang out with at mine or Fluffs again, and we can go into that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Richard, are you there? Can I get your age and best evidence for God? And then DMAC, same question.
I didn't even know how I got here. I'm just making tacos.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop you back down real quick.
I don't have a lot of power, so I haven't been able to control anything. I'm just talking to keep the air going.
I don't know how to do
My man making tacos.
DMAC, what's your age and can I get your God evidence, please? Sorry, I'm multitasking.
I'm 27. Evidence, I feel like I go off of historical and scientific evidence. So me personally, there's two sides to every type of evidence. There is the evidence that you can see and compel that you think it is, and then there's the evidence that's right there that you put together, and that's just cold hard what it is. So for me, my evidence would be reading the word, the Bible, and then realizing that the Bible lines up with so much stuff in history. It's not even funny. So I heard earlier Bulldog said something about Jesus somebody said something about Jesus not fulfilling any of the messianic prophecies.
We've all said that.
What'd you say, brother?
Both of us have said that, actually.
Okay, so my question would be, how is that possible when he fulfilled 323 things in the Old Testament?
Whoa.
Not to mention the Old Testament is written in Hebrew, not Greek or anything. He came during
a period. Go through all 300?
No, we don't have to, but okay, I'll give you an example. So Psalms, he
is not a prophecy.
It's not it is a prophecy when it said that he's to die on the cedar of a tree. It says that he will die on the
He
cedar of
didn't die
a
on the
tree.
cedar of a tree. He died on a post with another post strapped to it. That's not the same thing.
Yeah,
That's not true.
A psalm is a
There's
psalm.
a fact. A psalm is no. Psalms are many things. They're not just songs. They're prayers. They're songs. They're
They're
hymns.
lamentations. They're poems. Right.
Proverbs
But
is more.
Deuteronomy
That's why,
13
Mhm.
discusses what a prophecy is. And a prophecy has to like very specifically lay out what is going to happen, and that thing has to happen. Otherwise, it's no longer. Cedar says, "Keep my name out of this." No longer of God if it does not happen specifically the way it's laid out. You know, like so a person gets a revelation from God, like Isaiah, and God says through Isaiah that a girl is with child, and by the time that child it reaches the age of knowing good from bad, certain kingdoms will be like wiped out or gone, in order for King Ahaz to go on and do what he needs to do, which is Isaiah chapter 7. People have taken that as a misinterpretation, and they got this like virgin word out of it, even though in the Hebrew it does not refer to a virgin, refers to a young woman. And the thing in that like actual prophecy happens in chapter 8. Like if you just like flip the page over in chapter,
I've read them.
like,
I'm listening now.
and they announce like how the prophecy is fulfilled, and they say like, and we will exclaim, God is with us, or O Emmanuel. And in chapter 8, all the things that he lays out happen. A child is born, a child grows up a little bit, and these kingdoms are like wiped out. Yeah. And they exclaim, God is with us. So the prophecy was laid out and then fulfilled like word for word. So when I hear that a psalm has, and he will be, you know, splayed out on some cedar. Sorry, cedar. I mean, that's like really vague.
It's not. What if I told? Okay, let me ask you then. Who invented crucifixion? What was the first civilization to invent crucifixion? Let's start there.
I'm
the first civilization.
Like the Romans? I don't.
Okay,
I'll take a guess on that one. I don't know specifically.
So the first civilization to invent crucifixion,
the Assyrians and Babylonians.
Oh yeah, that
You're
is
on the
right.
track.
The Assyrians did, they did like put people up on poles.
Yes. In fact, the Assyrians were so brutal, they had a whole city of people that they had maimed.
Right.
Eyes cut out, arms cut off, fingers cut off. Literally. They were brutal. So they started crucifixion. Now, they started crucifixion on crosses. It's always been a cross. Never can you go in history and find crucifixion to not be on a cross. That's step one. So we can prove that now. Step one is they've always used crosses. It never changed.
They used pikes.
Pikes is not pikes was never considered crucifixion in the ancient world. They didn't call that crucifixion.
That crucifixion is literally like implying the cross like shape.
That's what I'm saying. So crucifixion, that term comes literally from a cross, from the Assyrians. Then you go from the Assyrians.
Does it mention crucifixion at all? In the Old Testament, is crucifixion mentioned?
Never, not once.
That's why I love the Bible so much, because the Bible it's gonna make you understand. It's like, for instance, okay, so it says. So you remember when we talked about Psalms, JA? So it also says not just in Psalms, but if you go to Zechariah 12:10, it's emphasizing again that this man. Now, why is it saying the cedar of a tree? And this is where I learned that the Bible's language in the ancient world isn't our language today.
Hold on.
Go ahead,
According to Google and a few other sources from just beyond the AI, crucifixions were not always on T-shaped crosses. The originals were actually impalements or on simple stakes.
Yeah,
they didn't call them crucifixion.
Then why is it saying that this is not how all crucifixions were done?
Because they're trying to tell you that it's sort of like saying Christians are Mormons, Presbyterians. I don't believe Christians are Mormons, Presbyterians, Latter-day Saints,
But they
Jehovah's
all
Witnesses.
follow your
I don't
faith.
believe that. So it's some
That's your belief. This is what kills me. You all give us some thoughts and feelings and beliefs. You never give us facts. The facts are in the book.
I'm giving you facts. You're not trying to let me finish, though. Like, I'm telling you that it's saying right here in the Bible that he will die on the cedar of a tree. What did Romans invent better than any other crucifixion civilization before them? I'll tell you one thing. Well, they learned that you could pierce somebody with nails. Crucifixion was not always done with nails.
On the cedar of a tree. That's a cedar tree.
And right. Watch how incredible this is. Now go look up and see what Romans made crosses out of. Go see what wood they made crosses out of. And tell me what you find out. Go see that the word.
Wait a minute. And if this was already written down by this
I don't care
time,
if it says it's like
because
like
that just means that would have been the wood to use. So of course they're going to write that down as what it's.
How does somebody know that?
They're telling that if it's common for that area, why would they not?
It wasn't common, bro. Zechariah was written
We
more than
literally
600
just
years.
read they've been doing crucifixion since 400.
But they didn't all. But listen,
You don't
bro.
think that,
listen,
like, the
they
same
didn't
type
make
of-
that area.
No, they didn't always make crucifixion out of cedar trees, bro. They did not. They did
Well,
not.
Maybe they didn't, but maybe in the area of Jerusalem.
Actually, the Bible doesn't specify the wood used for the crosses. So how do you know it was cedar?
I don't even know
It
what psalm you're
definitely
bringing up. What
specifies
psalm is
that.
this?
I'm literally reading where it says, Bible does not specify the type of used wood or the wood used for Jesus' cross.
It says in the
Several
Old
traditions
Testament,
exist,
go to Leviticus.
most notably Eastern Orthodox, which believes that
I'm
was
giving you.
cedar,
Go to-
pine, and cypress.
Go to Leviticus 14:4. Tell me what you see.
Is Leviticus not in the Old Testament?
The Old Testament, bro, is again you. So
You said the Old Testament
fulfills
said
the
he
New
would die
Testament.
on cedar, but there's nothing that confirms he died on cedar.
It does confirm that.
Where?
So Jesus
Because
was.
the New
So
Testament
this, I
doesn't
think.
say what his cross was made of.
I think the problem is y'all believe that Jesus was never existed, but he existed.
I
The
don't
argument
care
is
if he existed, because him being a real person or not doesn't prove he was divine.
It don't
I'm
have
telling
to.
you,
That's the
you
great
use
argument
the word,
for.
you use the word cedar. He would die on cedar,
and that's what he
but
did.
the New Testament does not specify what kind of wood he died on.
So I need to go in the New Testament to see that instead of
To
just going in
confirm that he
history.
died on cedar, if the prophecy is that he died on cedar, then yes, you would need confirmation that he died on cedar.
And there's confirmation. Go look up what
No,
Romans
there's not.
made.
It literally
Yes, there
does not
is.
say the type of wood he died on.
You don't have to read that in the Bible to know that Romans.
Wait a minute.
crucified a
Wait. They said on here that Romans used all kinds of wood, not just cedar. So I'm trying to figure out, if the New Testament didn't specify cedar, how do you know he died on cedar?
Because we know that Romans okay, so what happened to the Romans that made them use cedar
You know that
trees?
Romans spanned from the entire Middle East all the way through the Mediterranean, all the way up and through Europe.
You're
right?
talking to a
That
historian,
means they
bro.
use wood from literally everywhere.
Bro, they did not use
They
wood.
literally did. What?
I'm telling you, they did
What?
not. They definitely
Are you
did
trying
not,
to tell
bro.
me that Rome did not have a vast empire that stretched
I
from
didn't say
the
that.
middle
What I said is,
Mediterranean
so
all the
you're
way over
you're
toward
ass-
Europe?
You're assuming Romans were retarded, I guess, because Romans were very smart.
Let's hold off on the slurs,
That's a slur on
please.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh,
say
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry,
can't say
y'all.
that, dude.
Respectfully, not y'all, but I'm saying, them, the Romans were geniuses.
Do you think there's only cedar that grows from all the way from Europe all the way over to the Mediterranean?
Just out of the safety, because this isn't my account, out of the safety of the account, you could probably come back up. But user, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can I get your age real quick?
Yeah, 54. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I got one question for both you guys.
What's that?
If I may. What is the most powerful force in the universe? Each of you, your own.
There's actually
Gravity.
there's strong force. Oh, what is that called? It's like a binding force that's within atoms. There's strong and weak force.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know it either. Hold on.
Like it's like nuclear force or something like that. It's what binds like neutrons and protons. Strong nuclear force. That's what I would say is the strongest.
It's called
Yeah,
what?
strong nuclear force. You're right. That's what it is.
Yeah,
No,
the strong.
most-
It's like what binds quarks together, like like subatomic particles. What binds those together?
So it's called strong nuclear force.
Mm-hmm.
The most powerful force in the universe is love, gentlemen. That's the most
Love is
powerful.
an emotion that people can see, measure, and observe. That's not.
Love is the most powerful force in the universe, and if you guys
Neptune and Saturn
understand,
don't feel your love.
if you understand that, you don't have to feel mine, but I'm just telling you.
No,
If you
Neptune,
want to
Saturn,
understand-
the rest, the black holes out there, none of that feels your
No,
love.
love conquers all, bro. Love conquers all.
So your love can conquer a black hole?
Everything.
Everything.
I mean, I
Yeah,
do like to say
everything.
love
Nothing else
wins.
You're
When I-
gonna give a black hole a big old hug, huh?
When I look at my grandson, who will be 4 years old on Halloween, and he tells me he loves me, there's nothing else more powerful than that. When I look at my neighbor and give them my love and my affection, there's nothing more than that. When I help
For
somebody,
you personally, sir, but that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just letting you guys know that love.
That's great that's what you think, and we applaud you for that. That's not what we're talking
It's a
about.
fact. Love is
But
more
God
powerful
doesn't
force in
love.
the universe.
Right?
God
Like, so
doesn't love.
in the
God is
Bible,
light,
in
God
the
is
New
love.
Testament, they explain what love is, right? Love is kind, love
God
is
is
patient,
love.
is not jealous or
God is
envious.
love.
Right.
How is God love when it says love can't be jealous, and the book says that God is jealous?
Right.
You guys love anything?
Love is not boastful. God
Argument,
boasts.
sir.
God boasts
love
quite a
anything?
bit.
Do you guys feel love for anything?
Sir, we're talking about the God. We're not talking about ourselves. I don't.
asking you- I'm asking
it's-
you, is
I
it
don't
just-
care what you're asking. It's not relevant.
Well, it's all right, guys. God is light. God is love, and He
No,
loves you.
sir, good night. If
Even
that's
when
all
you
you
deny
came up
him.
here to do, then good night.
Yeah,
Even when you deny Him.
That's all you came up
disconnect
for. Go
yourself.
ahead and go. Yeah, go on
God
ahead.
is
and go.
light. God is love. God
No,
is
your
good.
God is not real, sir. He's just your imagination. But sure.
He's everyone's God. He's our Father.
Not my God. I can promise you that.
No, God is not
Well, you
love.
can deny Him all the way at your
Don't
folly.
deny a thing that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist to deny. It's not here.
Then I guess you have no
It's
reason
all
to
in
exist.
your head, sir. It's literally
What
only in your
reason
head.
do you have to exist? What reason do you have to exist?
I give myself a reason, a purpose, I guess.
love my own life.
Yeah, we don't really have a reason to exist, honestly.
Really?
I
Whatever
think
you give it.
existence is actually, like, in my philosophy, existence is suffering, and
Pointless
You
habits.
guys- you
it
guys
gets
are
actually like
amoebas
kind
that
of
can talk, is that what
pessimistic.
you're saying? You're just like amoebas that can talk.
No.
In a way,
I look
like we
all
are like
around me- I look
bacteria
all-
on Earth.
I mean, we're
I look
parasitic.
all around me and I see God's wonderful creation. I see it right next to me. I'm looking at God's creation right now.
Sir, our
Handsome
lack
man.
of belief doesn't. So, hold on.
My
hold on,
face?
hold on.
His name,
You're
but
making
I
a lot of
see
assumptions
God
here.
in His eyes.
Sir,
My
you're
eyes?
making a lot of assumptions. Sir, you're making a lot of assumptions here. Like, first and foremost, just because I don't believe in your God doesn't mean I don't see the beauty in the universe. I look outside at the stars at night and I think they're gorgeous and I love it. And I like my life. I think it's wonderful. I don't have to believe in your bullshit
Just
nor your
handsome man
fiction.
that
I
I might
don't gotta
never
believe in
see.
that to see that beauty and be that
It's not
happy about
bullshit.
it. I don't
Looking
need
at
your
God's
bullshit for that.
creation.
I'm not looking at God's
Right now.
creation. I'm looking at
All
nature,
around
baby.
me.
Ain't got nothing to do with your God. That's your belief it's your God, but you got no proof of that.
All right, brother.
Say I
I
have
love
godly
you, man.
eyes.
I hope you guys.
You do?
You have godly
I hope
eyes,
you
Benny.
figure it out.
Thank you.
I hope you figure
I
it
don't-
out, sir. Have a good day.
Hmm. Now you can take yourself off
It's fate.
live. Disconnect yourself.
You too,
Your
man.
God is
Be
fake. I
well.
agree with you. I appreciate you. You agreeing
I
with
don't know how
us.
to disconnect now. I love you guys. Love,
No, we don't
you
love
guys,
you
man.
because I
Be
don't
well.
know you. That's really
Maybe, maybe
creepy
God
when
can help
you
you
all
with
do
that.
Yeah, it's really creepy when you all love bomb like that. It's so fucking weird. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes it. It's so weird.
You can pray to like get off. Not like
Maybe your
that.
God can,
Not get off.
your Holy Ghost can knock you down from the. No. Can your prayers? There it is.
Oh, Louis.
I'm not with that.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much. Can I get your age and do you have any evidence that God exists?
47. And I guess evidence will be subjective to the individual. I do have a question though. How do you guys, what's your personal belief on how we came to be? Do you believe like in the Big Bang Theory or something like that? For example, we just have...
Everyone want to keep avoiding the topic and worried about what we believe.
Well, because it's going to go, all right, so I believe because of Pascal's wager, that's pretty much impossible to actually debate. Right? What do I lose by believing, right? And how can I provide you evidence that way? So
here's the thing, sir.
And individually from my own personal experience, I suppose. So you're going to want physical proof. It's pretty much impossible for me to...
Let's slow down here for a second.
Hold on.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Pascal's wager, it assumes that you're making a choice of one religion, one God, within the earth and like civilization of human, like all humans. I don't know how many gods there are. There's like an infinite amount of gods. So with an infinite amount, to be able to only choose one seems almost as significant as choosing none.
Sure. But my belief system, if I were to go with that as my reason, it's almost undisputable because it's down to the individual. And believe it or not, I'm sure you know this, the Bible does talk about lesser gods. So yeah, there are more than one God. You can choose which one it is that you want to believe. I was just curious as to why you guys don't believe in God also, is what the question was really based on.
Because the chances that your God is the right one are so unbelievably, like infinitely, like possible that it's almost like you're better off just saying it doesn't exist.
Right. I mean,
but how would that make you better off? How does that alter your life in any way to where you would be better off?
Honestly, it's not about whether or not we believe, because here's the thing. We wouldn't care about your belief, to be quite honest, if y'all left it at home and not put it in everybody's faces. Like, genuinely, you don't hear us complaining about Norse pagans or Hellenistic believers or Kemetics or Hindus or anybody, because they don't push this shit. They don't try to run everything. They don't worry about everybody else's life like that. Like, they leave their shit at home and let society be society, and they make their decisions in society based on society.
Okay, so that's kind of an absolute. So then they ask, how do you?
But that's my point, though. Is like, if our belief in this God, whether or any God, would not be relevant to anything, you would not even be talking to us if y'all stop forcing your belief as if it were a truth. That's why we're asking about the belief in the God and why we think it doesn't exist, and we want proof of that because of the way you all interact with the entire world. So it doesn't matter if we believe in any God or not, because either way, we don't believe in your God. And
right.
Just 1 second.
I'm not a typical Christian because I don't personally care whether you guys believe in my God or not.
But
That's
if you participate in it and you vote with it,
you want us to believe in
things, then yes, you do.
I don't want you to believe in anything. I'm curious why you don't believe. Like, you can believe whatever you want. I mean, you're you. Pick whatever you want. I'm just wondering why you've chosen.
It makes no logical sense.
Yeah, it's simpler to not add this variable of a God that you have to like put all these aspects into, and there's a lot of baggage that comes with that. Like, that's
what I'm wondering. So why do you guys
does time exist? Was time created? Why is suffering exist? There's a lot of hard problems where I can just kind of observe the natural universe the way it is, and like the way that science has been going. Like any God like type of explanation gets like smaller or lesser like probable. So why would I not just take what we have and assume that that's probably how it's been?
So you just chalk it up as this is life. There's no real explanation to it other than life unfolds however it unfolds.
Basically.
What's wrong with that?
Here's the thing. Right. What's wrong with that, even, number one? And number two, you guys, I like to believe things that are true, right? And true things are verifiable, repeatable, observable, verifiable. Your God is not any of those. Nobody's God is. And I don't understand why it's predicated so much when there's literally no evidence for any of them. including
he
yours.
just, I think he said something about evidence, about a coin.
So recently, it just came out that there was a coin discovered around the Byzantine Empire that had the face of Jesus on it.
Are you talking
Do you
about
guys
that like
have it?
silver locket that they like?
Yeah, no, I think it's like a coin. It was on the news or whatever. But they're saying, so you don't believe that that was legit, or would you say that just
Why would
because
that
it has his
matter?
face
How
on
would
it?
that prove him to be divine or true?
Right.
Right.
All that proves is that Christianity had made its way into like the Byzantine Empire
So
at around
Which
the
is
second. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd century is where the grave that they found it, and it wasn't a coin. It was like a little locket that they opened it up, and it had like a scroll like rolled up into it, and it said something like "Holy, holy, holy," or something like that, like Christ is holy, something that they used to say in early Christian, like.
So would you guys believe that all religions on this planet are predominantly based on faith and not evidence?
Wait, repeat that?
Yes, I would say.
Would you guys believe that all religions on the planet from the beginning of time are specifically based or predominantly based on faith and not actual physical evidence?
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
like a majority.
So then how
Because
could you
they wouldn't have any
prove
explanation for it. That's where all these come from. That's why all of these religions are so old, is because these were people who did not understand anything about anything. And they were terrified about the death they kept seeing in their people, both in war and in natural life. So they put an explanation to it. That's what all early civilizations started to do from Mesopotamia on. That's where all this started.
Right, and
You can
like it
literally
kind of
watch
makes
these
sense,
gods.
right?
You can literally watch these gods traverse from Mesopotamia as societies and cultures started spreading outward from the early ones in Mesopotamia. You can literally watch these gods evolve and turn into the gods of other pantheons, including yours.
Especially like when you look at cave paintings and like when we were hunter gatherers, our gods were usually like half animal, half human, and that's probably because they were surviving off of animals. And
The
then once
coin
we
that
turned
was
more
found, by the way,
agrarian, like
the
we have a more
Byzantine coin,
seasonal kind of calendar with gods, like
the
Demeter.
Byzantine coin, by the way, Denny,
Yeah.
the coin that you're talking about, it was 1,000 years old, so it's not even from the time of Jesus.
Yeah, it wasn't from his time. It just has
It's way after, so that would definitely invalidate it, because by then Christianity had already started spreading by violence. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to get that out before we forgot and didn't have the right info.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Are you going to say then that the reason that Christianity is the most attacked religion in the world is because you're
It's not
saying
a
that
fact. You guys want to be oppressed so bad, but you're the majority.
No, I don't want to be
Most
oppressed at all.
religions.
That's horrible. I'm
But
just
you do, though, because you're constantly putting yourself in these oppressive positions that you're not
here in the
oppressed
United
in.
States of America. I don't see any other religion being attacked.
You're
like
the ones running the entire country. What do you
We're
mean?
not running Jack anymore here, man.
You are literally the majority still in the country. You are also the ones who are literally running the country. The Christian nationalists are running the country right now.
Yeah, they're like trying to. They're trying to.
Are you trying to imply that you actually believe that Donald Trump is a Christian?
No, but the people that back him from the Heritage Foundation and all the people he hired from there to put on his cabinet, all of them are.
But this country was founded on Christian values.
No, it was not. It's maybe
Why would it say
primarily
about these
Christians and by that way bled into. But it was not founded on Christian beliefs, because the founding fathers at most were deists, a couple atheists, and one Christian. They even wrote papers back and forth and made news press articles and everything saying that it is not based on Christianity.
So then when did it change? Because
It started changing mostly in the 50s when the
50s.
Cold War started ramping up, and they needed people to believe in something, so they started adding it to the money. They added it to the
Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance. They started putting good Christian values on TV because that was popular then. Like, that's when it mostly started shifting. You've always had Puritanism and stuff like that have run rampant because they escaped being under the other type of religion's rule, the other version of Christianity's rule. But that's only because of the majority of the people that fled were some denomination of Christian that wasn't allowed to practice over in the country they started from. But that was founded on Christianity.
What about Noah's Ark that they say was supposedly
Didn't
found?
find that
Mount
this Ron Wyatt shit. I swear to God, this man is going to be the bane of everybody's goddamn existence. Ron Wyatt is the one who made this claim originally. This shit pops up like every 10 years. Ron Wyatt is a nurse who went out on a fucking long ass vacation.
A nurse
said
and
he found
ethicist,
a bunch of
okay?
shit.
They're like one step under a doctor.
Like literally went out, claimed they found a bunch of shit, including the ark on top of some mountain in Turkey, chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea, Jesus's DNA, the tomb, the Ark of the Covenant, and like this man, this amateur nurse somehow went on one summer trip and found all the things that were missing. Literally found all of them.
Yeah, even his
And
son.
y'all fucking believe it because some man said it. There's literally no ark on top of that fucking mountain. That ark is not there. The Ark of the Covenant has not been found. There's no fucking goblet. There's no fucking chariots at the bottom of the sea. They've been to the bottom of the damn Red Sea. They've been to the bottom of all these fucking places. There's no fucking chariots. None of this shit's been found.
Yeah, even his son, who was like there with him, like outed him as a hoaxer.
Like he literally just made it up. Like even the DNA said he found, he never released it to a lab to be tested. He literally said he had it tested on his own and that he has the results, but yet he will not show anybody the results.
Right. Well, I can leave it at this then. Nobody is going to be able to come up here and provide what your live is asking for, which is physical, empirical evidence.
Why we're trying, and those people who come up only help us for the people in the chat who are listening to make it realize that this is all bullshit.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to faith, guys. That's really it. You either have it or you
It's no
don't.
better than
I
using your
respect y'all's
imagination.
decision
You
not to
might as
have
well
it.
wish for puppies and rainbows. It is no different in your imagination.
It's fine. Like you can have an epistemology, you can have a religion. It's just don't call rainbow people sinners, and then lead
Well,
into.
I mean, we're all sinners as a believer, so I can't
See,
call them
I
or
don't have.
judge them
I'm not a
myself.
sinner. I'm not a sinner.
You're not
I've
a
never
sinner?
sinned.
Well, so what's your moral take then? If you don't, are you? I guess
Morality is subjective.
Morals are subjective.
Yeah, even Christian morals are subjective.
Yeah,
Sure,
morals are
but so then,
subjective.
what are your morals? Where did your value? What did you use to establish your
Empathy,
value?
reason, and compassion. My entire morality is based on harm reduction or harm negation.
Right, well-being of others. I like the I can't like Shemesh or whatever. The Jewish you want to help out the well-being of others. That one's a decent one.
That's how social animals thrive. Is they help each other out. All this minutia of these fake imaginary things just gets in the way of that.
Yeah, see, and when you start to claim an objective moral, then you start to use it for different agendas, and that's
becomes
where
dogma
it
at
gets
that point,
dangerous.
which is
Yeah,
useless.
So you wouldn't categorize life and people just being what they are as a sin, as opposed to that this is just how life is.
Yeah, because here's the thing: a lot of the things that Christians classify as sins literally harm nobody. Like being part of the LGBTQIA community, any person
working on a Saturday.
None of
Working
them
on a
hurts
Saturday
anybody.
doesn't hurt
Right.
anybody.
Working on a Saturday does not harm anybody. Being of the LGBTQIA does not hurt anybody.
Yeah, no. In reality, it's only going to hurt the believer.
Christopher Ron Wyatt made it in
you as a
here.
believer?
Well, it hurts me as a believer simply because it would go against my moral and my morals and my values because
Yeah.
I have that as a belief system, right? So
That's
you guys
true,
don't.
but this is where the problem lies, though, right? This is because you have a belief, not a truth, a belief. You expect you have this unspoken, maybe even unacted upon, but even though you're part of this system, it is technically acted upon. Want to subvert the life and happiness of somebody else because it doesn't fit what you believe based on this.
No, because I don't enforce or try and project my belief system on anybody.
You
Which
do
is
if you participate in the system in which this exists. If you live in the U.S. and you're a Christian, you participate. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on.
So are you saying that
Let's be real though. You don't follow all of the laws of the Old Testament like Jesus asked
way you do.
everybody.
No, I
And
don't
you're
follow the
supposed
old laws because they were specific for Hebrews, and I'm a Gentile,
No,
right? So then
they're.
why would I have to follow?
I mean,
Like
I would.
I'm not.
This religion's not for you either, but that's beside the point.
No, religion is I'm not. There's no such thing as religion. Jesus didn't come down to spread religion. He spread.
The definition of a religion is you believe in a God. That's literally it. So you believe in this as a God, and you have a religion. It's just that simple.
Jesus was a rabbi.
I have a religion, and yes, I believe that there's a God, but I don't understand. I don't.
It's a religion. You have a religion. It has a doctrine. It has all the things.
I mean, is it because you have no physical
instruction manual? It's a religion.
Well, I'm just saying because, like, morally, the laws of the Old Testament are pretty like awful. You know, like
they're really strict, yeah. But they were specific to just one race. Also, they were for the Israelites.
They're not though. Jesus himself said that any of his followers, you're supposed to still follow the old laws. Not a jot nor tittle of the law.
His followers aren't subjected to the old law because the old laws are specific to unbelievers.
He told you 5 times, I only came for the lost sheep of Israel. And he said, in the followers of him were to follow the laws, not a jot nor a tittle of the law. I did not come to abolish. I came to fulfill. Not a jot nor a tittle of the law shall pass until the heavens and the earth pass away.
But he wasn't talking about every law. He was talking specifically about.
He said not a single jot nor a tittle of the law.
They're just being legalistic at this point.
But
let's go further back than that.
Why is it only literal when you guys want it to be? Why is it the word?
No, it can be literal whenever you want, but you've been literal about the entire thing. Like earlier about the
not
whole
a jot nor a tittle.
That died on the cedar. Listen, he died on a log of wood. He was crucified. But
here, that's not the point. If it literally says not a jot nor a tittle, and you're like, nah, that just means some. That's not what that means. You're literally trying to tell me words don't mean words because it doesn't fit your narrative.
Not at all. I'm not at all. But because I'm
Cedar had something to say.
Languages, I'm going to go ahead and say that something was probably lost in translation, and you can't disprove that.
That's from the Hebrew itself, not from the English translation. The Hebrew itself says that.
In the Old Testament, it does say that the law of Moses.
The Greek.
Okay, but you lost something from
forever,
Greek, right? You lost something from Aramaic.
The Greek. Aramaic was not spoken in that time. Aramaic was not the liturgical language. Aramaic was the language of the time of Christ. Aramaic is the language for the dead. Hebrew is the language for the living.
Yeah, okay.
And the New Testament was written in Greek, so it doesn't matter.
But let's go further back even before Moses received the commandments on Mount Sinai, if we're going to abide by that lore. There were 7 laws given to Noah, now known as the Noahide laws. These existed before the 613 commandments of the ancient Israelites. Are you aware of what the Noahide laws are?
No, because they're not pertinent to me as a Gentile.
They are because God commanded that all of humanity follow those 7 laws. Every person, every being who resides on earth after the flood is subject to those 7 laws.
Where is that in the Bible?
I don't know, fucking somewhere in Genesis.
Yeah.
Where does it say that we have to abide by all of Noah's laws? Like, I need to see this. Show it to me.
Well, when Jesus himself, like my original argument stated, not a jot nor a tittle of the law will change
because I've read Genesis. I don't ever
until
recall
heaven and earth pass away. Heaven and earth haven't passed away. All the laws still exist. You're still supposed to follow them per Jesus.
Genesis 9.
Paul said in the New Testament that the laws.
Why are you believing Paul over Jesus? Jesus is your Lord and Savior, not Paul.
Sure, you're right about that.
So why are you going with Paul and not Jesus?
Okay.
I wasn't aware of the.
We don't have to abide by all of
because some Gentile told you don't have to, who is not Jesus.
Who? What Gentile?
Paul was a Gentile. Paul was not Jewish.
Was not a Gentile. Paul was a Pharisee. Paul was literally a Pharisee.
Do you know the
difference? The law, he was a Jew. Yeah, you missed that.
Was Paul not killing Christians beforehand?
No, he was.
Yes. Yes, he was killing Christians, but he was a Jewish Pharisee raised as a Pharisee.
You know what a Pharisee is?
Paul.
No, define Pharisee. And then later define Sadducees.
The Sadducees only believed in the 5 books of Moses. Like, they only believed in the Torah, I believe is what it's called, right? They just believed just in the 5 books of Moses, and that was it.
Then what do you call the ancient Israelites?
The ancient Israelites, you say?
Yes. What would you then call them? If that is your definition of a Sagittarian, what would you call an ancient?
Well, since they were split into two,
because the Talmud hadn't been written yet. The Tanakh had not been written yet by that time. So all of the ancient Israelites, by that logic, would
the Israelites of old would fall for me under two categories, and that would only be either a Pharisee or a Sadducee, and that was it. Even though they weren't all raised as a Sadducee, because you had to be basically the creme de la creme, you had to be the elite to fall into that. They had the same belief system all the way up into the time of Jesus.
All right, so even if he was a Hebrew, he was still the one killing Christians at first, and it doesn't matter because it's.
Well, he ended up repenting for it
to the point that Paul is still not Jesus. Paul did not live or meet Jesus. He went down to Damascus, smacked his head on the floor. I'm still talking to. Why are you talking over me? Like, God damn! Every time I fucking say something, you just start. Shut up! Fuck. Paul is just some random dude that went and smacked his fucking head on the ground, said he saw Jesus, and you all said, okay. Like, he is not Jesus. Jesus did not say anything Paul said. Paul directly contradicts Jesus. So you're telling me you're a Paulinian, not a Christian.
No, so, I'm not saying that.
Again, why are you not doing what Jesus said? Why are you listening to somebody who was not Jesus?
Yeah, like
so. Where did Jesus say we had to abide?
I already gave you that. I've already
Paul
given
says
you that.
Very heretical things like that you can eat certain types of meat, that aren't.
That was abolished when Peter had the vision on the roof with the veil that came down.
I don't
God
care. In the 613 laws, they're very clear on what is clean and what is unclean.
The 613 laws are irrelevant because they're not in the Bible, and we don't have to abide by them.
No, see, Matthew, what is it?
Saying I can't listen to Paul either when the vice president can speak on behalf of the president.
The scripture says that Jesus came to fulfill the laws of the Torah and of the prophets, or the Nevi'im, and that is two of the books of the Tanakh. Now,
which is the Israelites? Like I'm
back
not Jewish.
then. You can't have Jesus without those prophecies. That's literally what makes him supposedly Jesus.
Yes, but I believe that the prophecies were fulfilled.
They weren't. That's the point.
That's because you're being exceptionally literal with how they were fulfilled.
How do you not take? Why is it? This is again. Words don't mean words as long as you got faith, because that magic decoder ghost makes it's hard to argue mean something else. Like I don't. When does the magic decoder ghost like suddenly make the words in the Bible mean something else other than what the fuck is written?
I mean, I take
it says God said a thing, but you're going to tell me God didn't say a thing. Make it make sense.
Well, I guess that's why they say the word is alive, isn't it, gentlemen?
I don't know, like what fulfilling a law.
So it changes right in front of you, like the word "the" turns into like.
Well, it doesn't literally manifest into a different word. In other words, the meaning of it.
Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, though. Jesus came not to abolish a law. Now, a law can be abolished, but can a law be fulfilled? No. A prophecy can be fulfilled, and that's what he's referring to when he's saying the law of the Torah is not abolished. I came to fulfill the prophecies of the prophets, the Nevi'im. So
that's not if
you read the verse, it says the law with a capital L, A-W, and prophets with a capital P-H, or whatever, how you spell prophets. It's with a capital, and he's speaking about the two books which at that time, the Old Testament basically, or the Hebrew Bible, was split into. And that is what he means by fulfill. I mean, like that to me, and yeah, you could say this is legalistic, but I don't understand like how you fulfill a law. You could
talking about laws. Of course, it's going to be legalistic. They're laws.
And so my thing is, yes, he fulfilled the law, but the law doesn't mean just what you're saying. It also means
you cannot fulfill a law. You can obey and abide by a law.
In Judaism, can abolish a law.
Mitzvot, or singular mitzvah. So this is something that pleases God. When you abide by those laws, you please God. However, this is not for later Christians or Gentiles. Also, the Noahide laws are found in Genesis 9, verses 4 through 6.
So what is for the Gentiles?
I love that you were like, I had it still up. And the Noahide laws are 7 laws. 1 is to not worship idols. 2 is to not curse God. 3 is to not commit murder. 4 is not commit adultery or sexual immorality. 5
So
is
a
not to
portion of them
steal.
became the 10 Commandments, which we do have to abide by.
6 is not to eat flesh torn from a living animal, sometimes taken as do not eat the limb of a living animal. And then
And that is
7 is
irrelevant
to establish the courts of justice. I don't know
Right.
why
So
you.
some of those laws became part of the Ten Commandments, and the rest of them didn't. Right. So when it came to the eating portion, when Peter had the vision right before they came to get him to go to the centurion's house, 3 times the vision came down, the veil, and God said, eat. And he said, I cannot do that because there's both clean and unclean animals in Jesus. God said, what I have said is clean is clean. Okay. So right there, that abolished the food portion, proving that we do not have to abide by all of the old Jewish laws.
Paul says like, it is not what you put in your mouth that is like clean. It is what comes
That's
out.
actually what Jesus said that too.
Right? That's like attributed to Jesus. Yeah, from Paul. But
right.
No, Jesus, I believe Jesus said in the Gospels when the Pharisees were questioning him, he said, it's not what goes into your mouth that makes you unclean, but what comes out of it.
Maybe it is Jesus, and maybe Paul said the opposite. Either way, they dispute each other. And if that's the case, then Jesus lied from what he said in Matthew.
Right. Like, I don't understand following Paul at all.
I'm not following Paul. Like I'm
Is it
following
you
Jesus.
are if you're not listening to what Jesus said about following the laws.
But I am, though. I'm abiding by his law. I can't be judged by his law because I'm a believer, right? So so here's how this works. Honestly, this is how it goes. When you decide I'm going to take Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, right? He's my guy. I went in, like in Romans chapter 6 says that when I was baptized, I went into the death of Jesus. When I come out of the water, it's the same representation of his resurrection on the new life, right? That's what it means. So then I abide by the law because I abide by the 10 Commandments because I'm a believer. Therefore, I do my best to follow his ways and abide by the 10 Commandments. So I cannot be judged by them. So when he says he came to fulfill the law, that's part of
10 Commandments
prophecy. He also came to fulfill the 10
The
Commandments.
613 are the 10 Commandments.
He also came to fulfill the need for the constant sacrifice, which is what the 10 Commandments can hold. That's why he actually says the 10 Commandments are what people that don't believe are judged by.
At the best, Christ, the only law that you can fulfill, which again, you cannot fulfill a law, the only law that he fulfilled was the sin offering. At best.
And it wasn't even
And
like
that's
a good
really the only one I need to be
fulfillment.
saved, isn't it?
But like it
And the
wasn't
sin
a
offering wasn't
Levitical.
even for anyone other than the ancient Israelites. This doesn't
Actually,
extend beyond them.
that actually became Gentile, which is why Paul talked about in Romans about how the natural branch.
Again, why are you listening to Paul and directly
Because he was
contradicting
a
Jesus?
missionary for Jesus
Your whole
Christ
faith is
himself.
supposed to be Jesus, yet you contradict him by believing what Paul tells you to believe.
No, I'm not doing that
It
at all. actually.
literally is. When
Paul
Jesus
was
says a thing
literally
and Paul
chosen
says the
by
opposite,
Jesus.
you're
You know
telling me that's not a contradiction.
So how can you give me portion of the Bible that you want to believe in but not believe in the other portion?
How can you tell me when Jesus says one thing and Paul says a contradicting thing that it's not a contradiction?
What contradiction do you think Paul said? What was it again? You're trying to say
No
he said we
food.
don't have to abide by
Romans
the law?
14:14. No food is inherently unclean, but it becomes so for anyone who believes it is unclean. That goes
Okay,
against,
so what
that goes
does, what that-
against
talking about
Matthew.
conviction. That's
And
not
you not interrupt him. You ask for a fucking answer.
Yeah,
You
no,
do
go,
this
go.
every time one of us talks. You're like,
Well,
fuck.
because there's 3 of y'all and one of
Shut
me.
the
so I'm just
fuck.
throwing
No,
it out
there's
there.
not. We've literally been talking, just me and Benny, between you about this, and you keep diverting and cutting people off. Shut up a minute. Let Benny get his goddamn answer out.
Well, now you
What
gotta
the
shut up
fuck
so I
is
can hear
wrong
it,
with
don't
you?
you?
How is it Christians can never fucking adult at the moment their fucking shit gets
adulting
contradicted?
just
All
fine.
of you turn into gaping
I'm adulting
children.
just fine.
It's fucking stupid. Learn to be an adult. Have your Holy Spirit about you and get some goddamn holy patience and shut the fuck up and let Benny get his answer out.
Are you going to let
Fuck.
him talk to you so I can hear him? Okay.
Fuck.
Romans 14:14 says that food is inherently unclean, but it becomes so for anyone who believes it to be, or that no food is inherently unclean. It only is if you believe it is unclean. That goes against the Old Testament laws, which it would strictly say, like, what makes a clean animal good for a sacrifice and which one doesn't, and so on and so forth. They even talk about like bugs that are clean and birds that are clean and other ones that are unclean, winged creatures. Sometimes the Hebrew gets like translated as birds, but it could be winged creatures because it does include bats. Bats are clean. You can eat bats, I guess. But that being said, that goes against what Jesus said in Matthew when he said that he did not come to abolish that law. So we do have a contradiction.
So where does it say that he didn't come to abolish that specific law? Because that's what you're implying.
The law, like capital L-A-W, which means the Torah.
Okay. So then God did abolish that law when he told Peter on the roof that all things are clean now, eat what you want. So when Paul, like he said, this was contradiction, so I'll address it now. When Paul was saying that if you believe it's unclean, it will be, he's talking about conviction. You remember the story where Paul said, hey, listen, don't make your brother sin. So if you're at his house and he doesn't eat meat, if you eat meat in front of him, you're going to cause him to sin. That's completely different. He's not contradicting him. He's talking about conviction.
What? He's talking about
what?
Yeah, he's talking about food and whether or not it's clean or unclean.
He's saying if you believe
conviction, there's nowhere in there does it mention convictions.
That's exactly what it's talking about.
No, it's not. Why do you do this? You all add shit that is not there.
It is sort of like if you believe it is clean, I guess. Like,
well, if that's the case, then all of you would be able to do Matthew, 19, all the healing and ingesting poison and being able to heal everybody. Y'all be at hospitals doing all the shit if that were actually the case.
Paul was just making shit up, though. Like the literal verse is, I am convinced, being fully persuaded in the Lord Jesus, that nothing is unclean in itself, but if anyone regards something as unclean, for that person, then it is unclean. Exactly. So, like, he's just saying, like, I invoke Jesus, and now I can change the rules.
No, he's not saying don't.
Jesus was like so for the rules that he was actually crucified because he yelled at the Pharisees about, like stoning your children when they do not, because it was about washing the hands, and like if your children do not obey you, then you can unalive them according to the old law, and that is what Jesus is saying. But there was this whole talk about Corban, and the Pharisees at the time, they would take money instead of a sacrifice of the child, which is what you're supposed to do. And that's what Jesus is saying, is like, you're not even following the law. You're supposed to unalive this kid, but you don't. You take money for it and consider it Corban, or good in the eyes of God. Oh. Well, actually, that's actually a good ending anyways. Cedar, what do you have to say? What are your thoughts?
Are you talking about I've never heard Corban before. Are you talking about the redemption of the firstborn?
Well, okay, so Corban is just like a term in the New Testament, and it's what like the Pharisees, they basically made it so you could pay instead of like sacrificing your child for not like following you. Like if your child is they say it could just be like your son, like adult son. But if your child does not like honor you or follow you, then they are to be unalived. But in that time, apparently, the Pharisee had a rule where you could pay money and you could actually like, it would be good in the eyes of God, and that's what Corban means. Like, I think C-O-R-B-A-N. Corban. Mark 7:11. But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever I have that would help you is Corban, that is a gift to God, so like a sacrifice to God or a gift, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or mother. And that's in reference to the Levitical law of, if a child does not follow honor his mother and father, then it's supposed to be unalived.
Get in line or get gone.
Mm-hmm. And that's where, and like Jesus, some people like can argue like Jesus is like saying for sure that you are supposed to be unaliving your kids, and really he is. But I think really like the story is just trying to say like, you guys don't even, like you guys just take money for this, like you're not following the law. and you should be following the law. So like really he is saying that they should be unaliving their kids instead of taking money. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar
yeah.
with that one. That's something I'm going to ask Rabbi Hannah about next time I see her.
Oh, she's the best. I love her.
We adore
Her and
her.
Bert have taught me so much. So
I learned a lot from her. I did.
It was so validating too. Earlier when I was talking to somebody, and she like came up and said like exactly what I was saying. I was like, yes.
Dugald did the same thing. There was something I wanted to point out, and like I was about to put it in the comments. I can't remember what it was, and Dugald took over.
Sorry.
It's the Ohio telepathy. There we go.
I need to come to Ohio. There's a lot of good people in Ohio, is what I'm like finding out.
Stay away. It's so boring here. Don't.
It is boring here, but you know what? I'm here, so
I'll come. Like Jesus in the clouds. All right, everybody. I do want to end this. We are hitting the top of the hour at 9:00. Usually Joyful goes longer than this, but I am tired. I actually went live before this. I hope everything's going all right. I know that we had some unexpected stuff happen, which is why he couldn't come up with Dugald. But me and Dugald, we go way back. So, and Cedar, thank you for coming up and co-hosting and giving us some of that awesome knowledge. I learned about the Noahide laws that I think I have heard about, but not really like paid much attention to. So I'm gonna like read more into that. Dugald, any final thoughts?
No, just sorry I wasn't up earlier. My bad.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Cyber was up for a little bit. That was kind of fun. We had Rabbi Hannah up for a little bit. That was kind of fun. So
well, I came
overall,
in.
a pretty good night.
I came in as soon as I saw Joyful's message, and I saw you guys were like knee deep with Cyber. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call my partner. I'll hang out with him for a little bit. If they want me to come, I'll come. But yeah.
Right. All right, everybody. I'm gonna cut it off right here. Everybody have a good night. Thank you, YouTube watchers, for sticking with us. I appreciate you, Marduk, especially, and anybody else that gave any super chats or super stickers. You guys are awesome. Joyful really appreciates it. JA Debates will be doing this every Monday and Thursday around this time. I don't know.
I was on a podcast. Check it out. I was on Tahir and Garnett's podcast.
Yes.
It's on the Discord under the Promote Me channel. So
yeah, and
go
it's
check it
on
out.
the Deconstruction Junction YouTube page. If you just type in Deconstruction Junction, it's the Shattered Foundations podcast. That is actually like, I think if you hit the playlist, it'll start like with the most recent one at the very top. Those of like yours and Crystal's have been like really getting some views. It's awesome to like see it grow. So yeah, thanks everybody, and have a blessed day.
Are we raiding somebody?
God bless.
Are we raiding someone?
Is there anybody to raid? I don't know.
Hold on, let me see. You know what? There is Kate the Great. There is
Bowie on? Just kidding.
There is. I see Kate and Javarius.
And Tiny, it looks like Tiny Smoz and Kate.
But I don't know if he's on a panel or if that's his own.
Yeah,
line.
I don't know either. If Kate's up, I'm fine with like, yeah, tell Kate that JA Debates does a raid. If Zipzop's up, then yeah, go there. Just go wherever you need to go and tell them that Mezzo sent you. And that's what I'm gonna end with. Have a good night, everyone.